This page is the vibrant front cover of the November 1992 issue, showcasing a whimsical image of Sonic the Hedgehog riding a horse, set against a colorful backdrop featuring buildings and landscapes reminiscent of classic Sega titles. The cover prominently features the magazine's title, Beep, Powerful Mega Magazine Mega Drive 1992, and highlights a selection of exciting games. The cover lists several games covered inside, including major titles like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Landstalker, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2i, Balljacks, Lemmings, Puyo Puyo, and Crying. It also mentions games for the Mega CD, such as 3x3 Eyes, Aitokud Again, Road Blaster, Time Gal, Pro Yaku Super League CD, Gyuan Bura Jikochushin Ha2, Yumemi Mizuku, Aya, and Black Hole Assault. A significant feature highlighted is the new face, signaling major developments. This segment discusses Konami entering the Mega Drive market, Sega Falcon announcing new titles, and updates on new Sonic projects. Specifically mentioned are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Izisu IV, and the decision to release Shining Force Gaiden. The cover also promotes a double bonus appendix, including All About Tenjin and The Trajectory of Alesti, indicating in-depth coverage or supplemental material on these topics, with Compile noted as the editor for the Alesti feature. The issue is priced at 480 yen. This page features previews for two exciting releases. First up is Mega Twins, known as Cheeky Cheeky Boys in Japan. This action-packed platformer, originally a Capcom arcade hit, is coming to the Mega Drive on October 9th. Players take on the role of the twin princes, venturing across three distinct worlds, land, sky, and sea, to recover the Dragon Blue Eyes and restore their kingdom. Screenshots showcase the vibrant sprite graphics and diverse environments expected from this classic title. Below that is Evander Holyfield's Boxing, set for release in October. This heavyweight boxing simulation aims to replicate the thrill of a real fight, featuring the legendary Evander Holyfield himself. The game promises realistic graphics designed to feel like watching a boxing match on television, putting players right into the ring. Screenshots provide a glimpse of the intense one-on-one combat and fighter visuals. The page is rounded out with Sega branding, including the familiar Sonic the Hedgehog character. This page features announcements for several upcoming Sega Mega Drive titles. At the top, we see a preview for Crying Sub-Life War, described as a shooting game with vivid graphics where you exterminate ferocious lifeforms. The screenshots show intense side-scrolling shooter action, promising a thrilling experience. This title was slated for an October 30th release, with the price yet to be determined. Below that is the popular puzzle game Puyo Puyo, highlighted for its interesting battle modes and mysterious, thrilling gameplay. The screenshot displays the classic matching puzzle grid, familiar to fans of the series. Puyo Puyo was scheduled for a November release, also with the price undecided at the time. Finally, the page previews Ninja Gaiden, presented as the definitive ninja action game where you defeat enemies using realistic martial arts techniques. The screenshot showcases the signature fast-paced action and acrobatic moves the series is known for. This port of the classic Tecmo title was also planned for a November release, with the price still pending. The Sega Mega Drive console itself is also featured on the page. This page features a major announcement for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, highlighting its worldwide simultaneous release on November 21, 1992. The page prominently displays Sonic and his new partner, Tails, alongside game screenshots. It details key features such as the introduction of Tails, possible two-player gameplay with two distinct modes, the addition of new techniques, and an increase in the number of zones with doubled cartridge capacity. The release date is confirmed for November 21st. Though the price was still undetermined at the time. The page also notes that a Game Gear version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 would be released simultaneously, and shows images of both the Mega Drive and Game Gear consoles. This page unveils the highly anticipated virtual adventure, Landstalker, The King's Treasure. It showcases the protagonist, Lyle, a skilled treasure hunter, and his imp companion, Friday, set against the backdrop of the game's unique 3D isometric perspective. The game boasts innovative 3D game scenes powered by the DDS 520 system and is packed into a 16 megabit cartridge with battery backup for saving progress. Set to release on October 30th for 8,700 yen, the page promotes a special pre-order campaign where reserving the game guarantees you a free original single CD. Additionally, the full Landstalker original soundtrack CD is announced for a separate release on December 16th for 2,500 yen. The page highlights the game's premise of searching for King Noel's treasure on Mercator Island, implying interaction and information gathering will be key to the adventure. This page provides the official application form for the Landstalker special pre-order campaign. It's designed as a cutout for both customers and retailers. The top portion is the address for Sega Enterprises Inc. in Tokyo, specifically for the campaign. Below that, instructions guide customers on how to fill out their personal details: address, name, age, sex. In Section A, get the store to stamp Section B and provide their details, then cut out the form, attach a 62 yen stamp, fold it, and mail it in to receive the bonus original single CD. The lower section is for retailers, outlining their role in the campaign, including filling out Section C with customer details and keeping their portion for record keeping. It also provides a contact number for campaign inquiries at the Sega Customer Service Center. This form is the key to securing that special bonus CD for pre-ordering Landstalker. The next page highlights upcoming titles for the Mega CD system. Prominently featured is Pro Baseball Super League CD2, a realistic baseball simulation utilizing actual 1991 season data for teams, players, and stadiums. It offers multiple ways to play, including managing strategies or letting the computer handle everything, all aiming to win the Japan Series Championship. Screenshots illustrate different camera perspectives and gameplay views of the diamond action. Below this, the fantasy title Dark Wizard is introduced, described as a multi-scenario game featuring 4 main characters and 4 distinct stories, where players must choose between paths of good or evil. Character artwork for Dark Wizard is displayed. The page also includes a promotion for the Mega CD itself, showing the unit and stating it is selling well, reminding potential buyers that a Mega Drive is required to use it. This page introduces the Mega CD title, Time Gal. This is a full-motion video adventure game starring the futuristic time traveler Reika. The game follows Reika as she leaps through different historical periods and into the future to recover stolen time travel technology. The page features a large illustration of Reika and smaller images hinting at the diverse settings and characters encountered during her adventure, ranging from historical warriors to strange creatures and futuristic foes. Developed by Wolf Team, Time Gal offers a unique interactive anime experience on the Mega CD system. This page highlights Sega Mega CD's Virtual LD game series. The main focus is on the second installment, Time Gal, confirming its release on November 13th. The text describes Time Gal as a chase through time after the criminal Luda, featuring time stops to navigate traps, a multi-story narrative influenced by player choices affecting Reika's fate, and smooth, non-stop anime sequences totaling 10,000 frames with cute, deformed characters. The page also outlines the rest of the series lineup, featuring Thunderstorm X as the first game, a 3D virtual shooting game with 3D sound that is currently on sale, and Road Blaster, a virtual driving game boasting roaring turbo engines with 3D sound, listed as the third installment coming soon. Below the LD series information, the page includes a dramatic teaser from Wolf Team for an Invincible Mega CD special masterpiece approaching, hinting at an upcoming major original title from the developer separate from the LD ports. This page features 3 upcoming and recently released titles for Sega platforms, continuing the focus on the Mega CD from the previous page. The top section highlights Prince of Persia for the Mega CD, described as a grand action play. It showcases screenshots of the game's famous platforming and combat within a Persian palace setting, emphasizing realistic character animation and challenging traps and mazes. The text notes it uses the Mega CD's capabilities for enhanced sound and is currently available. Below is Wonderdog, another Mega CD title from Victor. This section features a large image of the game's titular mascot character and smaller screenshots of the side-scrolling action. Described as a free-roaming great success, it highlights anime sequences, diverse gameplay actions like digging and flying, and features various enemy types, presenting it as a thrilling action game utilizing the Mega Creed's power. It is also currently on sale. The bottom section introduces Metal Fang for the Sega Mega Drive. This game is a futuristic car combat and racing hybrid. It features artwork of a cyborg character and screenshots showing the vehicular action. The description focuses on its mix of speed and strategy, including team battles with offensive and defensive roles, competing for points by completing laps while being able to interfere with opponents. This title is scheduled for release soon. This page features a massive advertisement for Koei's highly anticipated strategy game, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2i, announcing its imminent release on both the Sega Mega Drive and Super Famicom on November 8th. The visual is striking, dominated by powerful artwork depicting key figures from the Three Kingdoms era, including the central figure who appears to be Cao Cao, alongside portraits of Liu Bei and Guan Yu. Screenshots show the game's strategic map view, detailed character statistics, and tactical battle scenes, highlighting the depth and graphical improvements. This third installment in the acclaimed Romance of the Three Kingdoms series is presented as a historical simulation game with significant depth, allowing players to utilize the unique talents of over 500 historical generals. It emphasizes intense tactical battles using a hex-based system, realistic diplomatic options, and enhanced graphics. The page clearly positions it as a major release for strategy fans on both major console platforms. An adjacent box also advertises a soundtrack release related to the game, Koei Original BGM Collection Volume 7, scheduled for later the same month. This page features a large advertisement for Koei's historical simulation game, PTO, Pacific Theater of Operations, known as Teitoku no Ketsudan, in Japan. It's being released for both the Sega Mega Drive and Super Famicom. The striking artwork depicts prominent admirals, likely representing both Japanese and Allied forces during World War II's Pacific conflict. The game puts you in the role of an admiral, tasking you with commanding vast fleets to achieve dominance in the Pacific. Screenshots showcase various aspects of the gameplay, including detailed fleet management interfaces, tactical combat views, and strategic meeting screens. The text highlights the importance of strategic decision-making in all areas, from fleet composition and movement to managing resources like fuel and engaging in crucial meetings. It covers key game elements such as sorting fleets, refueling operations, fleet formation, and strategic conferences, emphasizing the depth required to succeed in this grand naval simulation. The advert positions it as a comprehensive World War II game, focusing on the naval conflict. This page is a striking advertisement for Koei's Air Management, a business simulation game where you take on the role of an airline president. The goal is to build a vast global network, manage passenger needs, compete with other airlines, and ensure safe, comfortable air travel, ultimately becoming the king of the skies. The artwork features determined-looking business people and a large airplane symbolizing global reach, while screenshots showcase the game's strategic map view and various management interfaces. The game was planned for release on Mega Drive, Super Famicom, and PC platforms, with a release date of November 1st. The Mega Drive version specifically highlighted battery backup with 2 save slots. This title offered a deep dive into the complexities and romanticism of running a major airline. This page features upcoming game releases for Sega platforms. The dominant image is an intense close-up of a pilot in a helmet, promoting Afterburner 2i for the Mega CD, scheduled for release on November 20th at a price of 8,400 yen. Below the main title, a smaller section introduces Speedball 2 for the Mega Drive, highlighting it as the first in an overseas masterpiece series. Described as a unique future sport, Speedball 2 was planned for release on a 4 Mega Room cartridge at 6,800 yen. The page serves as an announcement for these 2 distinct titles arriving soon. This page announces the upcoming release of Megalomania, a combat evolution simulation game from Virgin Games and Sensible Software. The striking central artwork depicts the game's core concept, showing the progression of warfare from ancient times through tanks and planes, all within a spherical world held in a giant hand. The text confirms the release decision for this 8 Mega Room strategy title, though the price is still undecided. A bold female character is prominently featured on the left side. Below, the page also highlights Dyna Brothers, another strategy simulation game described as comical. This section notes the game's rising popularity, high review scores, and selection as a recommended summer title. It is also an 8 Mega Room strategy game, listed with a price of 8,800 yen, excluding tax. The associated artwork features various cartoon dinosaurs, reflecting the game's theme. This page features an announcement for Psychic Detective Series Volume 3, Aya, a popular PC series, making its debut on the Mega CD. Published by Data West, this adventure game centers around the character, Aya, depicted in striking artwork surrounded by roses. The game is described as a psychic mystery, where players delve into people's minds and navigate a psychotrance intertwined with life and death. It highlights the use of the DAP system for seamless animation, music, and sound effects, creating a real-time AVI adventure experience. This page showcases Black Hole Assault, a mech fighting game for the Mega CD. The cover art features detailed mechs locked in battle against a dark, cosmic background with a large planet visible. The title, Black Hole Assault, is displayed prominently in large blue letters, accompanied by the Japanese title and platform logos for both Mega Drive and Mega CD. The text highlights the game's use of the Mega CD's large capacity to deliver smooth animation and powerful sound, aiming to create an impressive battle experience. Small screenshots depict the side-view mech combat gameplay with health bars. The page also points out that the game supports two-player versus battles. This page focuses on Formula One racing games. The main feature is Phi 1 Super License for the Mega Drive, prominently featuring the supervision of Japanese Phi 1 driver Satoru Nakajima. The game is highlighted for upgrading the Phi 1 Grand Prix experience, featuring real drivers with their actual names and likenesses. It boasts improved graphics and animations, utilizing a top-down perspective to deliver smooth racing action. The page includes portraits of several contemporary F1 drivers alongside their cars, giving a sense of the roster included in the game. Below this, another racing title, Super Hero, is presented for the Super Famicom. This game takes a different approach, featuring an immersive 3D cockpit view and allowing players to tune car components like tires and wings. It promises to recreate 16 real circuits, showcasing a variety of gameplay perspectives, including top-down views. Both games offer different takes on the Phi 1 experience, targeting fans of the sport on different platforms. This page showcases the upcoming Mega CD title, A Rank Thunder, under the dramatic headline, Superhero is Born. It's presented as an adventure RPG, featuring a striking visual of a monstrous, insectoid figure posed against a backdrop of lightning, hinting at the game's action-packed and perhaps dark superhero theme. The game is structured into 8 distinct episodes and incorporates a visual card battle system for combat encounters. A significant feature highlighted is the full voice acting for all dialogue and conversation sequences, along with vocal tracks for both the opening and ending themes. The game also utilizes the language interactive picture system, lip system, a mechanic where dialogue choices influence character emotions and potentially player status, which is noted here as an upgraded version first seen in Maho no Shoujo Silky Lip. Scheduled for release in January 1993, A Rank Thunder appears to be leveraging the Mega CD's capabilities for enhanced presentation and interactive storytelling. This page marks the debut issue of monthly PC magazine from SoftBank, presenting the USer voted best PCs of '92, encompassing a range of hardware, software, and peripherals. The magazine dives into crucial buying advice for users at the time, posing questions about the top 486% for Windows, the leading portable printer, and the premier MS-DOS word processor known for its ease of use and rich features. It explores specific topics such as the PC 9801FA as a complete DOS machine, building MIDI systems on the PC 98 to surpass CD audio quality, adding overdrive processors to the PC 98, and setting up optimal hard disk environments for applications like Ichitaro. The coverage spans multiple popular platforms of the era, including the PC 98, Macintosh, DOS/V, FM Towns, and X68000. A particularly interesting section for enthusiasts is dedicated to identifying the best PC specifically chosen for gaming performance. The inaugural issue launched on October 17th and includes several bonus items for readers. This page kicks off with a look at new and upcoming software for the Sega Genesis Mega Drive. The new software scramble section previews a solid lineup, including major releases like the highly anticipated Streets of Rage 2, Shinobi 2-1, Return of the Ninja Master, Batman Returns, and the quirky fighter Clay Fighters. Other titles mentioned cover various genres, from sports with Joe Montana, Two-Eyed, to licensed games like The Simpsons, Bart vs. the Space Mutants. Following this is the Mega Hot menu, which highlights recently released or popular Genesis games, featuring the excellent action RPG Landstalker, The Treasures of King Knoll, the addictive puzzle game Puyo Puyo, and the strategic Lemmings. The main event is the special feature, the News Face, which brings exciting news for fans. After much anticipation, the page reveals that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is nearing completion and highlights participation from key developers like Konami, Sega, and Falcom. The coverage expands to the growing Mega CD library in the Mega CD press section, previewing titles such as the sci-fi shooter, Black Hole Assault, and fantasy RPGs like the Arcus series. Visually, the page features screenshots of a game titled Switch, which appears to be a puzzle platformer, and a side panel highlights a bonus booklet focusing on the developer Tenjin and the making of this game. The table of contents provides a glimpse into the magazine's diverse articles, covering various aspects of Sega's consoles and the gaming scene. This page presents the latest software sales rankings for both the Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, and Game Gear. The Mega Drive chart is topped by what's listed as FX, described as a port of a popular Laserdisc game, and featuring a screenshot of a helicopter and boat, followed by the fighting game Shura no Mon at number 2. Other strong performers in the top 10 include Splatterhouse 2, Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2, the shooter Thunder Force IV, and the RPG Lunar, the Silver Star, alongside returning favorites like Sonic the Hedgehog and Kunio-kun's soccer game. The text highlights that new and experimental titles are reaching the top ranks. The Game Gear sales chart shows Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2 also leading the way, praised for its quality on the handheld. Sonic the Hedgehog and Hanu no Tukyuji Dodge Danpei are close behind in the top 3. The Game Gear section notes that the number of available titles is increasing, with Olympic Gold and Chow Pro Yakyu completing the top 5. These charts reflect sales data from August 1st to 31st. User data highlights a strong desire for ports of arcade and PC games, with Street Fighter II topping the wishlist. Konami's entry into the Mega Drive scene with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, landing at number 15 in shop sales, is a key development. Sega and Falcom also plan significant ports, including YSIV. Screenshots showcase TMNT, Lord Monarch, and Brandish. Shop data reveals Street Fighter II maintaining its dominance. Other top sellers include Coca-Cola Suzuka 8 Hours, World Heroes, Bakuretsu Quiz, Maku Daibuken, and Sonic Wings. The text also notes the rising popularity of Polygon games and Neo Geo titles within the shop environment. This page presents the user data top 20 list of anticipated new games for the Mega Drive. The ranking shows considerable shifts, with several highly awaited titles making their mark before release. Landing at number 1 is Landstalker, The Treasures of King Null, celebrated for its large-scale 3D graphics. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 maintains its strong position at number 2, with excitement building for the introduction of Tails and the high-speed gameplay. The classic arcade brawler Final Fight CD makes a powerful debut at number 3, demonstrating the capabilities of the Mega CD with its faithful port. While slipping slightly, the popular character-driven RPG Seima Densetsu 3x3 Eyes remains in the top ranks. Phantasy Star IV, The End of the Millennium, although still distant, holds high anticipation at number 5. The list continues, with other anticipated releases spanning various genres, including the sequel Streets of Rage 2, the strategy RPG Dark Wizard, and ports like World of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Gauntlet. This data, compiled from reader surveys, clearly highlights strong interest in established franchises, quality arcade ports, and upcoming Mega CD software. Sega and third-party developers are preparing for a busy release period across the Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear platforms, with a wide variety of games planned. The Mega Drive lineup includes highly anticipated titles like Landstalker, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Streets of Rage 2, and Shinobi 2i. Arcade ports such as Road Rash, Gauntlet IV, and RPGs like Phantasy Star IV and Langrisser 2 are also featured, alongside sports titles. The Mega CD is expanding its library, with games like Final Fight CD, Robo Aleste, Popful Mail, and sought-after RPGs, including YSIV and Record of Lodos War, alongside arcade ports. The Game Gear is also receiving new releases, with handheld versions of popular franchises like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Streets of Rage, and Shining Force, alongside RPGs like Phantasy Star Adventure. The editorial anticipates the influx of games, mentioning Konami's arrival and overseas ports. This page provides updates directly from a host of Sega Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear developers, introduced by a friendly cartoon monkey reading a book. Sega Enterprises is gearing up for a busy end of the year, announcing a major event in December and confirming the release dates for the highly anticipated Landstalker and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. GameArts is excited about their upcoming Mega CD titles, including Yumi Mix. Wolf Team highlights the release of Time Gal on Mega CD, noting the main characters singing. Konami confirms their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles title for the MD is in its final stages, putting developers under pressure. Data East announces Chelnov, known as Atomic Runner on Genesis, is finally ready for release, emphasizing its unique and surreal style. Tengen had successful summer events and is releasing Rampart soon, perfect for two-player battles. Victor Musical Industries is working on the action-packed Wolfchild for the MD. Visco is bringing bowling to the MD with Boogie Woogie Bowling, and also has a Decal .50 coming. Messiah discusses their tactical RPGs, like Vixen 357 and Langrisser, suggesting the term simulation RPG for the genre. Finally, Micronet announces the release of BHA, a game revealed at the Tokyo Toy Show. The overall sense is one of intense development and excitement for the upcoming wave of titles. This page presents the BeepMD Race section, a dedicated review and buying guide for new Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear software. The reviews are conducted by a panel of different types of gamers, and games are scored using a unique dog icon system. 2 games are featured for review. First up is Vixen 357 from Messiah, a tactical simulation RPG, with a focus on story and character interactions. Reviewers comment on its strategic battles and engaging dialogue, noting it's a solid entry for fans of the genre, even if perhaps less complex than titles like Langrisser. Following that is Koei's Air Management, a realistic business simulation where you take on the role of an airline president. This title is praised for its unique strategic gameplay that revolves around managing routes, finances, and aircraft rather than combat, offering a different kind of simulation experience. The page also introduces the review panel and explains the scoring method, emphasizing that the reviews are based on finished or near-finished game versions to help readers make informed purchase decisions. This page continues the BeepMD Race section, presenting reviews for 4 more Mega Drive titles. First up is Crying, a Sega original horror-themed shooter set in a world ravaged by biohazards. Reviewers noted its creepy atmosphere and grotesque enemy designs, though some found the gameplay chaotic and the 2-player mode difficult due to losing track of your ship. It scored an average odds of 6.25. Next is Evander Holyfield's Boxing, a sports simulation where you can create your own boxer and compete for the world title. While praised for its character creation and the satisfaction of winning, reviewers found the overall presentation somewhat ordinary and the controls not perfectly intuitive. It received an average odds of 5.75. Following that is Landstalker, The Treasures of King Noel, an isometric action RPG. The game was highly praised for its visually impressive pixel art, unique perspective, and well-implemented 3D feel and camera work. Reviewers highlighted the action puzzle elements and the satisfaction of clearing traps as key strengths, despite some text being lengthy and certain visual elements like moving rocks being hard to see. It earned a high average odds of 8.0. Finally, Lemmings is reviewed, the classic puzzle game from Sunsoft. While acknowledged as a solid port of the popular title where players guide hordes of creatures to safety, reviewers noted the versus mode scroll speed was slow and the controls felt different compared to other versions, particularly the PC and Super Famicom versions. It scored an average odds of 6.25. This review section covers 4 Mega Drive games. Time Gal, a port of the Laserdisc game, is praised for its anime aesthetic and theme song, but criticized for gameplay reliant on memorization. Black Hole Assault, a robot fighting game, has an improved 2-player mode and movement, but suffers from a lackluster overall feel. Pro Yaku Super League, a Japanese baseball sim, utilizes CD format for data and modes, but suffers from slow pacing and weak player individuality. Castlevania Bloodlines, a new entry in the series, has a spooky atmosphere and challenging traps, but is marked down for stiff gameplay, unfavorable hit detection, and a lack of balance compared to previous titles. This page features reviews for 2 action games and an editorial section offering game recommendations. First up is Batman Returns, a movie-tie-in action game based on the film. It features 5 stages where you take on bosses like Catwoman and Penguin. The review notes the game captures the dark atmosphere and uses wire action, but feels a bit subdued compared to the film's action. It scores a 6.0. Next is Chuck Rock, a prehistoric action game where you defeat enemies by sticking out your belly. The review finds the belly attack amusing, but notes the overall gameplay doesn't offer much excitement, though it can be addictive. It highlights the unique attack and the game's solid, grounded feel, despite the simple graphics. It scores a 4.5. The editorial section from the BeepMD staff discusses the month's releases, calling it a strong lineup. They recommend Landstalker for its value and Vixen 357, a simulation game for beginners. They also mention Pro Yaku Super League for baseball fans and Time Gal for fans of that style. Other games getting a nod include Crying for shooter fans, though it might be tough for newcomers, Lemmings, and Black Hole Assault. The editors express optimism about the enjoyable selection this month. This page presents the latest reader rankings for Sega Mega Drive games. The BeepMD Reader Race Volume 20. It explains the system where readers rate games on a 10-point scale, with average scores determining the ranking. The main list shows reader-ranked games, with titles like Shining Force, Advanced Daisenryaku, likely Davis Cup or similar strategy game, Thunder Force, IV, and Splatterhouse Part 2 appearing high up. Several games are highlighted with reader comments. Shura no Mon, a strategy game, gets praised for its visuals and sound but noted as having limited freedom. Splatterhouse Part 2 is called a Namco masterpiece, praised for its atmosphere and impact, though some find it less splatter than the first. Greylancer, likely Greylancer, a shooter, is visually impressive, but some found enemy bullets hard to see and the gunner system lacking. Twinkletail, another shooter, is described as a fantasy-style game, with decent opening and graphics, but some found the gameplay and boss difficulty inconsistent. Finally, Bonanza Bros is mentioned, noted for its decent look but poor controls and short length, although the two-player mode is highlighted positively. The editorial section discusses the ranking trends, noting that while top spots like Lunar, the Silver Star were stable, Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2 saw a significant drop. New entries like Shura no Mon and Splatterhouse Part 2 are mentioned with mixed feelings, and the editors look forward to upcoming CD games. This page reviews games ranked 50 to 110, highlighting single bomb games, hidden gems, and miss bomb games, disappointments. Olympic Gold, rank 78, a single bomb, is praised for its fun, cheap, and multiplayer features. Detonator Organ, rank 103, also a single bomb, offers simple gameplay and good animation. Slime World, rank 76, another single bomb, provides satisfying action. David Robinson Basketball, rank 92, a miss bomb, suffers from gameplay flaws. Prince of Persia, rank 118, a miss bomb, offers a faithful PC port but has movement issues. Finally, Sword of Sodan, rank 224, is the ultimate miss bomb, criticized for its lack of music, clunky controls, and overall poor quality. Reader comments on characters, game availability, and Mega CD experiences are also included. This page highlights the strategic depth of Super Daisenryaku, featured as a famous horse, ranked 30th in the reader race. The reviewer praises it as a top strategy simulation, appreciating its use of contemporary weaponry and clear hex map display with readable text, noting its impressive quality for an early Mega Drive title. However, they critique the lengthy simulation time, non-scrolling map, and simple battle visuals, along with the single save slot. Despite flaws common to games of its era, it's strongly recommended among titles with high average scores. Reader comments echo praise for the varied units and maps, but also point out the computer's slow turn times and the single save limitation. The page also continues the BeepMD Reader rankings, listing games from rank 111 downwards, featuring a diverse range of genres, including action titles like Toki, Dynamite Duke, Shadow Dancer, and Forgotten Worlds, RPGs such as Phantasy Star IV, generations of Doom and Vermilion, along with various shooters, puzzle games like Clax, and sports titles. This page continues the BeepMD Reader race rankings from rank 172 down to 224, featuring a wide array of titles including Crackdown, Cyclone, Turbo Outrun, Wonder Boy in Monsterland, Mystic Defender, Twin Cobra, Rambo 2i, Last Battle, Altered Beast, Space Invaders 90, Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, Fantasia, Super Hydlide, Rastan Saga 2, and Sword of Sodan. A special feature analyzes the data, pitting girl games against hero games. It finds that while action and shooting games still dominate, girl games, represented by titles like Sylphia, Elysia Dragoon, and Mahou no Shujo Silky Lip, are showing a rising trend, despite having fewer releases compared to other genres. The analysis notes interesting points about specific developers, and the lower ranks dominated by male characters, prompting a playful suggestion for developers to create more girl games. Elsewhere, readers are invited to participate in a prediction game, this month focusing on forecasting the average score for the upcoming title Rise of the Dragon, featuring its gritty box art. There's also a section recruiting participants for the reader race itself, offering prizes like the Genesis version of Terminator for those who submit their game ratings and comments. The editorial wrap-up notes that the 20th reader race saw little change in the top and bottom ranks this month, but anticipates more movement with the rush of new releases expected towards the end of the year, hinting at an expansion of the reader race coverage to 5 pages. This page features Virgin Games' The Terminator for the Sega Genesis. Introduced in the magazine's December issue the previous year, the game became a significant hit overseas upon release, despite the gameplay being considered fairly standard. The success is attributed to the production quality, including imported movie visuals, and the popularity of the source material itself. The reviewer expresses hope for an official Japanese release. The page breaks down the game into 4 missions, detailing key moments from the film's plot adapted into gameplay. Mission 1 is set in the future wasteland, where Kyle Reese seeks time travel technology while battling menacing machines. Mission 2 shifts to the past as Kyle searches for Sarah Connor, pursued by the Terminator. Mission 3 covers their escape and subsequent arrest after an accident. Finally, Mission 4 takes place in the factory, culminating in a confrontation with the iconic Terminator endoskeleton after its skin is destroyed. Screenshots throughout the page showcase the game's visuals, including action sequences, navigating environments, and facing bosses like the endoskeleton. The text provides brief gameplay tips for each mission. This page delves into the world of MegaDrive commercials with the BeepMD CM Investigator Group, spotlighting ads for 2 distinct titles. First up is the CM for Koei's naval simulation game, Teitoku no Ketsudan. This commercial takes a serious, historical approach, with dramatic visuals, music, and glimpses of gameplay, reflecting Koei's signature style. The commentary from Koei notes the meticulous effort involved in the filming. Following that is the CM for Toplan's frantic vertical shooter, Fire Shark. This ad is the complete opposite, featuring a hilariously chaotic scene in a fish market with a performer in a shark costume, interspersed with explosive gameplay footage. Toplan's insights reveal the deliberate choice for an impactful, memorable commercial, highlighting the fun and over-the-top nature of the game and its marketing. The page breaks down key moments from each CM, offering a fascinating look at how diverse MegaDrive games were presented to the public. This page covers the 1992 SWC Suzuka 1000 km race held from August 28th to 30th, a significant event in the World Sports Car Championship. The main headline announces the victory of the number 1 Peugeot, driven by Derek Warwick and Yannick Dalmas, securing them the World Championship title. The article details the race itself, noting a lower number of entries compared to previous years, which led to fewer grid girls as well, described as a lonely situation. Despite the reduced grid, the competition was fierce. Images show the winning Peugeot 905 Evo 1B, along with shots of the Toyota and Nissan cars that also competed. Toyota's number 7 entry finished in a strong 2nd place, while the Nissan took 4th. Another Peugeot, car number 2, managed to finish 3rd despite suffering significant time loss due to a long pit stop caused by technical issues. The Toyota number 8, driven by Sekiaya, aiming for a podium finish, unfortunately retired from the race after a fire on lap 84. The page also includes a result table listing the top 3 finishers. First was Peugeot, Warwick Dalmas. Second was Toyota, Lees Lammers Brabham. And third was Peugeot, Aliot Baldi. The piece concludes with a brief comment on the uncertainties surrounding the future of the SWC series. This page shifts focus to a major event for Sega fans, announcing the Yusei Sega World event. This is a large-scale event scheduled for December 6th at Ryogoku Kokugi-kan in Tokyo, dedicated to showcasing Sega's high-tech entertainment capabilities and products to its users. The page features Sonic the Hedgehog prominently, flying on a large CD, underscoring his status as a key figure for Sega, especially with the eagerly anticipated Sonic the Hedgehog 2 mentioned as an upcoming release for the end of the year. The event promises a variety of attractions, including virtual reality experiences, a UFO catcher championship,
and exhibitions of the latest Mega Drive software from both Sega and other developers under the Sega and Party banner. It also mentions guest appearances and a concert. Admission to the event is free, with invitations being sent out via a lottery system for 10,000 attendees. Applications are requested by postcard, including necessary personal details. The page also features a photograph of Yumiko Takahashi, stating she will be attending. The background artwork depicts a vibrant futuristic city, with cascading waterfalls, likely representing the Yusei Sega World theme. This event is clearly designed as a major celebration for Sega enthusiasts, offering a chance to experience Sega's future firsthand. This page brings us a collection of news and information from the world of Sega and beyond. We hear exciting news about Sega becoming an official uniform sponsor for the J.League team Junior Furukawa, signaling Sega's growing presence in other entertainment fields. There's also coverage of a radio appearance by Ijuin Hikari, who brought a near-complete build of the game Landstalker into the studio for promotion. Significant industry news includes the formation of EA Victor through a merger between the American giant Electronic Arts and Victor Musical Industries, aiming to deliver interactive software. The page also highlights a special exhibition celebrating the 25th anniversary of manga artist Go Nagai, creator of influential works like Devilman. In the new release section, several music albums are featured, including soundtracks for games like King Colossus, Dragon Quest V, and Dragon Slayer Volume 2, alongside a Game Music Festival album and others. A novelization of the Mega CD RPG Burai is also listed. For gamers seeking different experiences, there's a feature on Roppongi Gigo, a Sega arcade specifically designed for adult players. Finally, an event is announced for the completion of the PC Engine Crowdrum 2 game YSIV, Mask of the Sun, offering fans a chance to attend and see voice actors. The page also shows a widescreen television marketed for gaming. This page kicks off a new section in the magazine, broadening its scope beyond standard tabletop games to cover the exciting world of amusement park attractions and large-scale arcade experiences. The goal is to provide a more immersive view of gaming than just showing screenshots. Leading the charge is a detailed look at Sega's impressive Virtua Racing arcade cabinet. The reviewer expresses surprise at the feeling provided by this giant cabinet, noting it's a significant departure from previous cockpit designs. A key highlight is the unique seat which, instead of physically moving the entire structure, uses air inflation to deliver tactile feedback, simulating bumps and acceleration. This system, combined with realistic sounds, creates a convincing sense of being in the race car. The game itself offers simple controls, but includes realistic features like adjustable driver's eye viewpoints, accessed via buttons on the steering wheel, though the initial close-up view can be challenging for newcomers. There's also an overhead view available, giving a more objective, almost helicopter-like perspective. With adjustable difficulty levels, it's designed to be enjoyable for everyone, from beginners to advanced players. The page also includes photos of other arcade attractions, like the Sega Sonic Ball Pool and an SNK setup, showcasing the variety of entertainment available. Sonic himself is even shown cheering on the Virtua Racing cabinet. This special report focuses on BattleTech, an immersive action simulation where players pilot giant robots in a sci-fi/anime world. The gameplay centers on robot versus robot combat, controlled via levers and buttons for movement, speed, and weapon selection. Missile, laser, machine gun. The system, praised for its realism, places players within a cockpit environment. BattleTech's exclusivity, with only 3 locations worldwide, enhances its appeal. One location is in Yokohama, Japan, Trelwan Building near Junior Yokohama Station. For 1,000 yen, players can enjoy a 10-minute battle, with a trial offer for newcomers. The report includes images of the building, cockpits, gameplay, and results. Even scriptwriter Hitoshi Shigematsu was enthralled by the experience. This page is a special report, all about the highly anticipated Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The headline proudly announces that the game is nearing completion, with detailed information and the confirmed release date of November 21st for 6,800 yen. The article highlights that Sonic's new partner, Tails, joins the adventure, and importantly, the game features a 2-player mode, including a revolutionary split-screen display shown in one of the screenshots. The magazine had access to a near-complete build, noting the game is 90% finished. Screenshots showcase the vibrant graphics, which are praised for surpassing the original, featuring diverse environments like lush green zones, metallic levels, and underwater areas. The level design is noted as being more complex, featuring dynamic elements like loops. The game's story involves Sonic and Tails arriving at the mystical West Side Island in search of the Chaos Emeralds, while Drive Eggman
is up to his usual nefarious schemes. The report touches on the familiar gameplay system, emphasizing the importance of collecting rings. The bottom section illustrates the game's startup sequence, from the iconic Sega logo jingle to the title screen, and a glimpse of a demo level resembling a neon city. This page dives deeper into Sonic the Hedgehog 2, focusing on the introduction of Sonic's new partner, Tails. It reveals that Tails is actually a nickname, with his full name being Miles Tails Prower, a clever pun. Tails is described as having similar abilities to Sonic and generally follows him, though his AI anticipates Sonic's movements. A key feature highlighted is Tails' apparent invincibility. He cannot be defeated or drown, although he does fall behind if Sonic speeds off. Importantly, the page notes that Tails can be controlled by a second player at any time, enabling cooperative play. The page also introduces a major new gameplay mechanic in Sonic 2, the spin dash. This move allows Sonic and Tails to accelerate from a standstill or low speed by holding down and pressing a button, providing a burst of high-speed movement. This is crucial for tackling obstacles like the game's signature 360-degree loops, which previously required a running start in the first game. The article emphasizes that mastering the spin dash is key to experiencing the full speed and action the game offers. A side panel also briefly touches on the game's special stages, describing them as 3D tube courses where players collect rings. This page continues the deep dive into Sonic the Hedgehog 2, showcasing more of its groundbreaking features. It highlights the numerous new stage gimmicks introduced beyond the familiar 360-degree loops from the first game. You'll encounter challenging elements like elevators, moving cables, flippers, and jumping boards, making the levels feel more complex and even labyrinthine, as seen in one screenshot showing Sonic and Tails on a vertical lift. The article also notes the continued importance of collecting the Chaos Emeralds for achieving the true ending, leaving the reader to wonder what happens in this sequel. Beyond the stages, the page focuses on the boss battles, specifically calling out Drive Eggman, Robotnik, who has become considerably more formidable. His robots are revamped, and the objective is now explicitly to defeat Sonic, demanding more skill to avoid his attacks. A screenshot depicts Sonic and Tails facing off against one of Eggman's imposing machines. A major new addition highlighted is the two-player versus mode. This splits the screen vertically, allowing two players to race through stages as Sonic and Tails, competing for points based on score, time, rings collected, total rings, and item boxes. The article mentions competition is available in zones like Emerald Hill, Mystic Cave, Casino Night, and the special stage. It praises the technical achievement of the split-screen display, noting how it uses clever techniques to maintain visual quality despite the vertical compression. Screenshots clearly illustrate this unique split-screen gameplay. This page provides an exciting look at more zones from Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Genesis/Mega Drive, confirming changes to the game's structure since its initial reveal. The adventure now begins on West Side Island, and the number of acts per zone is no longer uniform. Featured zones include the high-speed Emerald Hill Zone with its iconic loops and corkscrews, the challenging Chemical Plant Zone filled with intricate pipe layouts and hazards, and the Aquatic Ruin Zone, which combines land and underwater segments where managing air is crucial. Screenshots showcase the unique environments and gameplay features of each zone, often featuring Sonic and his new sidekick, Tails. The page also introduces the Game Gear version of Sonic 2, set for release on the same day, November 21st. This handheld title tells a different story, focusing on Sonic rescuing Tails from Dr. Eggman. The article hints at unique features like glider travel and multi-layered stages. Notably, the Game Gear version features 7 stages and utilizes a 4 MB room, with its title screen showing Sonic and Tails in reversed positions compared to the Genesis title. This is presented as a title Game Gear fans should anticipate. This page kicks off with a new release scramble, highlighting a collection of upcoming software for the Genesis, including major titles like Streets of Rage 2, Batman Returns, and Shinobi 2-1, Return of the Ninja Master, alongside other varied genres. The main feature is dedicated to World of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, known here by its Japanese title, Mickey and Donald, Mysterious Magic Box. The article emphasizes the joy of the game's two-player cooperative mode, where Mickey and Donald must work together using unique actions like lifting each other up or navigating minecarts. It praises the game's accessibility, beautiful graphics, and sound, noting that its difficulty is set to be approachable for all ages, making it a perfect title for parents and children or friends to play together. Screenshots showcase the vibrant environments, including the mysterious forest, library, underwater areas, and a spooky cave, giving a taste of the diverse Disney World players will explore. The completion gauge shows the game is 50% complete, targeting a December 18th release. This page kicks off with a bang, leading with the highly anticipated sequel, Streets of Rage 2. The article highlights the significant increase in size and scope compared to the original, featuring 4 distinct playable characters: Axel Stone, Blaze Fielding, Max Thunder, and Eddie Skate Hunter, each with their own powerful moves and techniques. While the police assist is gone, it's replaced by character-specific special attacks that cost health, adding a strategic layer. The inclusion of a surprising 2-player versus mode is also noted. The magazine expresses confidence that the game will spark a worldwide Streets of Rage phenomenon. There's even some fun commentary on Skate's character and moves, including his infamous raging state and the ability to pick him up and throw him. The section ends with a call to action for Genesis users, urging them not to be idle. Below that, the page covers Batman Returns, a tie-in to the popular movie. The article positions this game as distinct from the earlier Sunsoft title, focusing heavily on capturing the movie's dark atmosphere and feel. Gameplay mechanics inspired by the film, such as using the grapple hook to navigate difficult areas, are highlighted. The appearance of iconic rivals like Catwoman and Penguin is confirmed, promising challenging boss battles. The game's focus on Batman's muscular physique and close combat prowess is also mentioned. This page previews 3 upcoming titles for the Sega Genesis, starting with the Super Shinobi 2. This sequel to the popular ninja action game sees the return of Joe Musashi, battling the resurrected Neo Ghost. The article highlights new moves like wall jumps and sharp kicks, noting the improved variety and appealing sound design, though it's currently only 50% complete and a single-player experience. Next up is Glock, a port of the arcade aerial combat game. The preview expresses anticipation for this home console version, featuring screenshots that showcase the first-person perspective and intense dogfighting action. While still under development at 60% completion, the graphics are noted to be impressive for a room release, aiming to capture the arcade's play feel. It's also a single-player shooting game. Finally, the page looks at Joe Montana 2i, likely the next installment in the Joe Montana's NFL football series. Following up on the previous game, this title is confirmed to feature real NFL team names under official NFL authorization. Players will have the option to choose from vertical, horizontal, or a simple overhead view for gameplay. The game also includes voice commentary. It's a 2-player capable sports title and is already 100% complete. Several upcoming Sega Genesis games are previewed. Slap Fight MD, a vertical shooter with power-ups, promises faithful recreation and enjoyable gameplay for both veterans and newcomers. Chuck Rock, an action game, features a prehistoric character and colorful environments. Krusty's Funhouse, a Simpsons-themed puzzle game, challenges players to guide mice through levels. The Simpsons, Bart vs. the Space Mutants, originally on other platforms, is receiving a full Genesis port. Finally, Tazmania, a Looney Tunes action game, lets players control Taz with his signature spinning ability. All games are completed and ready for release, offering a varied library for the Genesis. 4 upcoming Sega Genesis games are previewed. Tekipaki is a puzzle game with color-matching blocks that can be cleared horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, also featuring helpful items. Pachinko Kunyan is the first pachinko game on the Genesis, where the player searches for a missing father in different parlors. Nakajima Satoru F1 Super License, a sequel to F1 Grand Prix, improves upon its predecessor with enhanced graphics and features official F1 teams, drivers, and tracks, thanks to a partnership with Fuji Television. Lastly, Kishi Densetsu, Night Legend, is a tank battle simulation focusing on realistic combat and tactical gameplay, offering various missions and influencing attack calculations based on distance and armor. This page features the BeepMD section, a reader forum discussing topical issues. This month's argument centers around the contentious statement, "Street Fighter II isn't interesting?" Readers weigh in with various opinions on the massively popular arcade fighter, which was also highly anticipated for home consoles like the Genesis. Some readers express burnout with the game's dominance,
finding the repetitive nature of one-on-one fights tiresome despite its excellent mechanics and large character sprites. Others praise the depth of competitive play and the thrill of facing human opponents, contrasting it with predictable AI patterns. They highlight the game's technical achievement and its role in creating a new wave of fighting games. The discussion reflects the game's overwhelming impact on the arcade scene and the mixed feelings it generated among dedicated gamers. There's also a small section soliciting opinions on the ideal controller, a fitting topic given the precise inputs required by games like Street Fighter II. This page presents the user's voice section, inviting readers to share their thoughts on the gaming world and the industry. Enthusiastic gamers weigh in on recent titles and hardware features. One reader expresses immense satisfaction with the faithful port of Final Fight CD, noting how important home console versions are for those unable to frequent arcades, and thanks Sega and Capcom for the release. Another discusses the need for a wireless controller for the Genesis, particularly to improve the experience when listening to music on the Sega CD. Reader opinions cover game difficulty, describing Sword of Sodan as frustratingly hard. Others critique modern games for being overly complex or lacking user-friendliness, while also planning group gaming events. High praise is given to Thunder Force, IV, known as Lightning Force outside Japan, with a player highlighting the stunning opening, intense gameplay, and engaging sound. The page concludes with a section showcasing reader-submitted illustrations featuring characters and scenes from games like NBA Jam, Landstalker, Sonic 2, and potentially Black Hole Assault. This page is the BeepMD section, featuring reader contributions, opinions, and artwork. Readers share their thoughts on various Mega Drive games and the gaming hobby itself. One reader discusses the game based on the manga Shura no Man, appreciating its strategic depth tied to atmosphere and timing, describing it as an adventure action game rather than a simulator. Another reader expresses strong desires for a future Super Monaco GP2i, detailing features like improved sound, diverse rival cars, more complex tracks, weather effects, course editing, and support for the Mega CD. The section also includes a discussion pushing back against the notion that gaming is only for children, arguing that hobbies are not age-restricted, and questioning societal views on adult gamers. The page is filled with reader-submitted illustrations, showcasing diverse artistic styles and depictions of games such as Gauntlet, Storm, and Lunar, alongside original character drawings and humorous cartoons about gaming experiences and relationships. A brief note highlights the Lunar game positively. This page is part of the BeepMD section, filled with reader contributions and opinions about the Mega Drive and gaming culture. A new corner has been added featuring original song lyrics for games, kicking off with 2 versions of lyrics for Rent a Hero, submitted by readers. The main Bin Talk section includes diverse perspectives. Readers discuss their preferences for the Mega Drive over other consoles like the Super Famicom, highlighting classic titles like Alien Soldier, Ghouls and Ghosts, and Gauntlet. There are comments on hardware, such as a clever method for moving the Mega CD and the desire to buy a Wonder Mega specifically for the upcoming Road Blaster. Gamers share thoughts on appreciating games not just for the ending, but for their graphics, sound, and story, agreeing with previous contributors. The Hitokoto section offers a rapid-fire collection of short comments. These range from the amusing, like getting strange looks for buying specific items or dealing with household ants, to the relatable, such as discovering the joy of Sonic later in life, the struggle between gaming and studying, budgeting for new releases, and even electrical issues affecting RPG save points. Games like Lunar, Noria, Gaiares, and Fantasy Zone are also mentioned within these quick thoughts. The page includes illustrations showing hardware setups and controllers. The section announces that it will be expanding with more game song lyrics in the future. This page continues the BeepMD reader section, opening with a humorous 4-panel manga featuring MD Kun, the magazine's mascot, making a joke about the Mega Mouse peripheral. Below, the section outlines various ways readers can contribute, inviting submissions for future issues. Topics include a discussion on the ideal controller, a free-form user's voice for expressing opinions on Mega Drive hardware and software, a corner for complaints called Ikamon, and the ongoing Bin Talk section, which continues recruitment for various creative contributions like graphics and stories.
They are also looking for illustrations and submissions for the MD-kun manga. The page then announces prize winners selected from all submitted contributions to BeepMD, including specific software titles and special telephone cards. On the right side, an errata notes a correction regarding an item description error in the previous October issue. This is followed by the full list of winners for the September issue's Reader Present campaign. Prizes awarded included popular MegaDrive software, Game Gear software, signed crids for a game likely related to Battle Yaru, copies of the game Baryon, historical simulation games like Date Masamune's Great Campaign, and overseas magazines like Megaforce. The page concludes with the mailing address and submission guidelines for readers wanting to send in their own contributions. This page features the Sonic Communications column from Sonic Software Planning. The main article is from Champion Takahashi, who recounts his personal journey into the world of video games. He details how he started playing games, beginning with early personal computers like the 80 Takas about 20 years prior, roughly the late 70s, early 80s, then arcade games like Pinball and Block Breakers. He discusses learning programming and the dream of creating his own games, reflecting on his transition into the game industry and his current job, questioning if it's his destiny. The article includes images of Champion Takahashi, one playing a console game and another sitting pensively at a computer. Below this, there is a special section with the bold title, Game de Go, Go, Go. The page also announces that Sonic Software Planning has moved offices. The new location is only about 50 meters from the old one, moving from the first floor to the 5th floor. The announcement highlights the bright new office space, with a balcony suitable for BBQS and a window perfect for naps. The move took place on September 10th and 11th. An image shows some of the computer setups in the new office, with a note stating that more details will be provided in the next issue. This page features more content from the Sonic Communications column. Hirokazu Takahashi writes about visiting Nintendo's first meeting event, describing the overwhelming number of games on display and comparing the experience to CES. He recounts being impressed by the scale and running into many industry acquaintances. The section includes photos of Takahashi and other individuals. Below this is Gendo Taguchi's Proverb Dojo, presenting several short, often humorous dialogues or sayings attributed to different people and locations. These seem to be light-hearted takes on various topics. The Sonic Communications Mania section is dedicated to fan submissions. It highlights selected artwork, including one piece awarded the Burning Teo Prize, and mentions receiving many postcards from readers. The section encourages readers to keep sending in their submissions. New employee Hanako's old diary gives a glimpse into the life of a new employee, describing after-work activities and mentioning the company's recent office move. Finally, the ending section touches upon the changing season, hints at the upcoming release of new work, and mentions the busy period related to the office relocation, concluding by looking forward to the next issue. This page is Sims Communication Volume 7, bringing us news directly from Sims about their upcoming titles. They're gearing up to release a few new games, starting with Game Gear titles like Soccer and Golf. The soccer game is described as a World Cup style with 2-player versus, while the golf game leans more into simulation. Most exciting, though, is the announcement of Mashin Tensei for Mega Drive. This is noted as an action game that will incorporate elements from the popular Megami Tensei series, including enemy characters. The accompanying art gives us a glimpse of a demon-like foe and a powered suit character, hinting at the game's vibe. The page also announces upcoming game tournaments, including one focused on Capcom's quiz game, held in Tokyo and Osaka. Finally, the Sims Communication Reader Mail Corner answers fan questions, even addressing the meaning behind Sims' distinctive egg-shaped logo. This page of Sims Communication dives into the development story of the Mega Drive fighting game Shura no Mon. Developers Asano and Dana reveal the challenges they faced, including getting feedback from the original manga author and the surprising difficulty in naming key characters, specifically mentioning the character Kimura. They also touch upon core gameplay mechanics, humorously referring to the effective parrying technique as the ashtray. A screenshot illustrates a fierce battle between Kimura and Okita. Switching gears, a delightful comic strip section titled Flowing Pot features charming characters like Nina in a lighthearted scenario. The Quiz Dojo presents its 6th question, challenging readers to identify the real-world person. The protagonist's name in the Game Gear title In the Wake of Vampire, developed by B,
is derived from.
Closing out the page, Sims Communication puts out a call for reader mail, accepting everything from illustrations to gags for a chance to receive prizes. This page is Act 13 of the Sega Falcom Communication section, featuring the tagline about knowledge. The main article discusses the philosophy behind making good games, announcing the first wave of official releases. It mentions that after a year of preparation, Sega and Falcom are finally getting started by getting the company set up and gathering the necessary equipment and staff. While there are more titles planned, they are starting with a specific list of 5. These 5 titles are presented in a decorative box as the lineup 5 titles: Popful Mail, Sega CD version, YSIV, Mask of the Sun, YSIV, planned Sega CD port,
Hyperload Monarch, Sega CD, Brandish, planned Sega CD port,
Super Daikukai Jidai 2, Sega CD.
The article notes that most of these titles are from Nihon Falcom and are well suited for porting to Sega CD.
The goal is to create games that utilize Sega Falcom's unique strengths, moving beyond simple conversions. The page also includes the 6th installment of the Things I Want to Say column by SegaFal.com director Kazutaka Yano. He shares a personal anecdote about alarming health check results, highlighting the stress of the industry. Yano discusses the challenge of developing high-quality games consistently, especially given the current financial climate, where banks are hesitant to lend to the industry, necessitating guerrilla tactics. He emphasizes the importance of thinking about worldwide releases, and offers a hint about the target market for their games. This page explores the then nascent technology of morphing, popularized by films like Terminator 2, Judgment Day. The article introduces morphing as a digital transformation technique, building on older animation methods like tracing. It highlights that this digital approach allows for smooth, intricate changes impossible with traditional techniques. The main subject is the software Morph for the Macintosh. The author expresses excitement that this powerful effect, previously only seen in high-end CG production, is now available on a personal computer using technology like QuickTime. The software's basic mechanism is explained: setting points on start and end images, then letting the computer calculate the intermediate frames. Images show a Macintosh Classic 2 displaying the software, a PlayStation console, possibly just a visual element unrelated to the article's core focus on Mac, and a sequence demonstrating morphing, including a famous example of morphing a picture of parents and children into a picture of just the parents. The article notes the popularity of Morph at the Boston Macworld Expo, contrasting the long queues for this utility software with those for games like those on Famicom or Mega Drive. It mentions another morphing software name, Metamorphosist. While acknowledging the appearance of graphic tools on Super Famicom, the author hopes the world of PC graphics, exemplified by Morph, continues to advance, and that the Mega Drive platform also keeps pace. The page conveys the author's fascination with this new, accessible, digital image manipulation technique. This page features the 5th installment of the B-Mega Paranoia column, focusing on the upcoming Batman Returns games for the Mega Drive and Game Gear, and exploring the history of the Caped Crusader. The author expresses admiration for Tim Burton's Batman Returns film, noting its darker tone and significant production values. They then highlight that software based on the movie is scheduled for release on Sega platforms later that year, specifically mentioning a car action game element for the Sega CD version, released in the US as the Sega CD. The column delves into Batman's origins, explaining his debut in Detective Comics in 1939, created by Bob Kane. It touches upon the character's evolution over 50 years, mentioning iconic villains like the Joker and Penguin, and discussing the character of Robin. The author recalls the impact of the 1966 TV series, starring Adam West and Burt Ward, which was popular despite being cut short in Japan. The column also references Frank Miller's influential graphic novel, The Dark Knight Returns, as a significant turning point for the character. The page includes a comic panel depicting Batman's origin, and an illustration of the classic Batman and Robin from the TV series. The author concludes by expressing excitement for the upcoming Sega games. This page begins a Be Mega Hot menu feature, highlighting upcoming and noteworthy titles like Landstalker, Balljacks, Puyo Puyo, Crying, Lemmings, and Romance of the Three Kingdoms. The main focus is on Landstalker, The Treasures of King Noble, the highly anticipated isometric action RPG. The game is listed with its October 30th release date, price, and confirms it's a one-player action RPG genre. A completion gauge shows it's 100% ready to go. An interesting note advises players to start getting used to the game's diagonal perspective now, anticipating its unique viewpoint. The article continues the discussion from the previous issue, explaining how the game progresses after reaching the town of Mercator. It mentions obtaining photos of the opening demo, which ties into the previously published prologue novel, and strongly encourages players to experience it for themselves upon release, stating how impressive it is. Visuals include official art of the protagonist, Nigel, engaged in combat, and another image showing him riding on a large bird, likely from the opening. A filmstrip-style layout presents several in-game screenshots, showcasing the isometric view, character interactions, and environments, depicting scenes like discovering treasure, a business deal, a trio appearing, and the need to escape. Landstalker is a classic, and this feature clearly builds anticipation for its release. This page continues the Landstalker feature, acting as a guide for the game's opening segments. It recaps the initial journey from Mercator Island to the mountaintop cave, providing a map of the cave and detailing the treasures found within, including chests, lives, and gold. The guide then directs players to the village of Masan for Quest 1, highlighting it as the first hub. It notes the presence of treasure chests in houses and mentions the inn where players can check the map. The village is known for its equinox fruit, a useful stamina recovery item. Players are instructed to seek out the character as Neural in his shrine, located near a waterfall, emphasizing the need to navigate past monsters and traps within the cave leading to him. A map of Astral's shrine is included, listing the items obtainable there: chests, lives, a labyrinth key, and gold. Finally, a battle section offers tactical advice for combat, particularly in confined areas. It stresses the importance of luring enemies directly in front of Nigel rather than swinging wildly, as inefficient attacks can lead to self-damage. Retreating is also suggested as a viable option when overwhelmed. This guide provides essential tips and maps for the early game exploration and combat encounters. The next page continues the Landstalker guide, covering subsequent quests. It details Quest 2, the Marsh Shrine Incident, where after returning to the village, Nigel finds the situation changed, with conflict escalating and Farah kidnapped by the Gummy Tribe. The goal is to rescue Farah from the Gummy Tribe's shrine. A map of the shrine is provided, showing its multiple floors and listing valuable items like chests, lives, labyrinth keys, and equinox fruits obtainable inside. A trap section advises careful progression through the shrine, noting many locked doors and the importance of clearing areas thoroughly to avoid getting stuck. The page then moves on to Quest 3, the Port Town Ryuan Thieves Guild Incident. It describes arriving at the port town of Ryuan, which initially seems peaceful, but has a strange atmosphere due to a thieves guild. The objective is to infiltrate the guild's hideout. A trap section for this quest discusses dungeon exploration strategy, suggesting shortcuts are viable here if you don't need extra lives, although taking the long route often yields important items elsewhere. Screenshots depict conversations with NPCs in Ryuan, including dialogue about the drop-in customers at the inn and the overall unsettling situation. A battle tip emphasizes a key combat tactic, cornering enemies against walls to prevent counterattacks and defeat them safely. This page continues the Landstalker guide, focusing on exploring the sprawling town of Mercator. Although previously blocked, Nigel now has a pass to enter. The town is described as vibrant and full of shops. Before heading directly into Mercator, the guide recommends visiting a couple of locations. First, the swordsman Ashura's hut, found off a path split. It mentions a trap sequence to reach him and suggests practicing it. Asura is knowledgeable about swords, and speaking with him is recommended. Second, the Trent tree, located near the fork leading to Ryuan and Mercator. This large tree is troubled, and helping it after dealing with the thieves in Ryuan will make travel easier. Within Mercator itself, several notable spots are highlighted. A fortune teller's house is mentioned, seemingly important for an item, though the atmosphere is suspicious. The best area of town features a surprisingly placed doghouse, noted for its pleasant sunny location. There's also a house with a balcony, offering a great view, reminiscent of a famous balcony scene, but attempting to climb it isn't recommended without the proper equipment. The Trent tree's internal structure is complex, like a multi-level maze, and simply going up isn't enough. It's inhabited by glow ghosts, which spawn continuously until their source is destroyed.
This page continues the guide for landstalkers, detailing the challenges and events surrounding Nigel's entry into Mercator Castle. After exploring the town, getting into the castle proves difficult, as only invited guests are allowed past the guards, and the back entrance is locked. The guide also points out several places within Mercator Town that are inaccessible early on, such as a members-only establishment called the Pink Palace, and a mysterious well, implying they become relevant later. Finally, gaining an invitation allows Nigel to enter the castle. He's welcomed by the butler, and meets Duke Mercator, along with other invited guests. The Duke explains his reason for inviting them. He needs heroes to defeat a powerful sorcerer, causing trouble south of Mercator. Nigel, Baber, and Zed are chosen for this task. Before setting off, the guide encourages the player to enjoy the castle's grand feast, which features a piano performance, though the reviewer laments the musician won't play their namesake instrument, the cello. After the meeting, players are free to explore the vast castle interiors before preparing for the next adventure. Character art of Duke Mercator is also featured, with comments noting his robust physique and tan skin. This page of the guide for Landstalker focuses on the next step in Nigel's quest: obtaining the necessary item to enter Mill's Tower. Having been tasked by Duke Mercator to defeat the sorcerer, Nigel discovers that Zed and Baber have already departed. Following their trail, he learns from locals near the church that an amulet is required to enter the tower, and this item can be found in the Mercator underground graveyard. The guide describes the underground graveyard as a unique dungeon, distinct from typical ones. Progress is blocked by riddles posed by the deceased inhabitants, requiring the player to use their wits to solve them. There are initially 8 such challenges. The page details these 8 rooms, each named after a specific individual buried there, such as Daryl Newton, Ruby Silent, and Jim Light, along with a numerical range, likely part of the riddle itself. Screenshots show the area near the church where the clue is found, the entrance to the graveyard, and the interiors of the puzzle rooms. An unlovable old man guarding the entrance adds to the suspicious atmosphere, warning that previous attempts to enter have ended in failure, but the guide encourages the player to press on regardless. This page of the Landstalker Guide continues detailing Nigel's progress through the Mercator underground graveyard. After successfully navigating and solving the initial 8 puzzles, the guide explains that torches disappear, opening the path forward. Importantly, solving these first 8 riddles also causes a raft to appear near the water, allowing Nigel to cross to the other side of the dungeon. However, the challenge isn't over. The page reveals there are actually 10 puzzles in total within the graveyard. The 9th room presents another puzzle, and beyond it lies a strong boss monster, identified here as the Heebie-Jeebie. The guide notes that the usual tactics might not work well against this foe. Interestingly, Baber, who was mentioned on the previous page, is also found in the boss room, apparently having arrived before Nigel. Once all 10 puzzles are solved and Nigel obtains the amulet, the underground graveyard is no longer needed. The guide then shifts focus, showing that returning to Mercator Town reveals changes have occurred while Nigel was exploring. Players are encouraged to revisit familiar locations, especially the port, where a rare ship that only sails once a month has arrived, presenting a new opportunity. Finally, the page points towards the next destination on Nigel's quest: Mill's Tower. This page continues the Landstalker Guide, detailing the next steps after securing the amulet from the underground graveyard. Your objective is now Mill's Tower, located west of Mercator Town. The path itself can be quite challenging, with frequent encounters against pesky skeletons who obstruct your way, and orc soldiers who might try to surround you. Before setting out, the guide strongly advises stocking up on energy chips, essential for recovery. Note that the path towards Verla Town is blocked for now, so the tower is your only destination. Upon reaching Mill's Tower, you'll find a magical barrier blocking the entrance. The amulet you obtained is the key to dispelling this, allowing you to enter. However, be aware that once you step inside, the entrance immediately closes behind you. This means there's no turning back until you conquer the tower. You'll likely face dialogue options from Mill himself, urging you forward despite potential dangers, and the guide stresses that proceeding is the necessary action. Finally, the page highlights critical items for tackling the dungeon within the tower. Absolutely paramount are energy chips, vital for healing, and even revival if Nigel falls. Antidotes are also highly recommended, as some enemies inside employ poison attacks. Other important items include gold goddesses statues for continues, Gaia statues likely for escaping, and certain key items like the evil god stone and a pass. Don't forget those energy chips. This page dives deep into the treacherous Mill's Tower and Landstalker,
the next destination after obtaining the amulet. The guide emphasizes that this tower is far more complex and bizarre than previous dungeons, built for difficulty rather than practicality. The recommended approach is to proceed slowly, tackling each room carefully. The tower is crawling with tricky monsters, including a new magic-wielding type, and features numerous traps. The key strategy offered is simple but crucial. Defeat every enemy you encounter, even if it requires taking a detour. This is rewarded, presumably with experience and gold, and is essential to navigating the tower safely. You'll encounter various obstacles, from switches that need quick action to rolling iron balls that must be precisely jumped over. Be wary of rolling treasure chests. Many are actually disguised monsters.
The tower also features confusing warp points that can disorient you, so pay attention. Thankfully, healing items like Eek fruit and antidotes can be easily restocked just by traversing staircases. Given the tower's difficulty and the penalty of restarting upon defeat, the guide highlights the presence of a save point within the tower itself. Utilizing this place to record love and courage at opportune moments is strongly advised to minimize lost progress. The page also features an intriguing image and question about a character who looks exactly like Nigel, hinting at the mysterious doppelganger found within the tower. Ultimately, the goal is clear. Find Mill, who is waiting deep within this labyrinthine structure. This page picks up the adventure in Landstalker after the events in Mill's tower, focusing on the return to Mercator Castle. The protagonist, Lyle, is faced with conflicting information from Duke Mercator and Mill, making it unclear who to trust. The magazine suggests meeting with the Duke as soon as possible to clear up the confusion, but not before perhaps saving your progress and investing in some high-end gear with the gold accumulated. Screenshots show various locations within Mercator Castle and its surrounding areas. One section highlights the castle itself, mentioning how the guards are only friendly when you have business there. Another details a trip underground, implying Lyle has fallen into the castle's dungeon, a difficult area to escape from. The page also covers the discovery of Princess Roraria, who has gone missing. She's found in a dungeon area, confirming she was captive. There's even a screenshot showing a character named Morales, who also appears to be imprisoned, suggesting more captives are held within the castle's depths. Finally, a humorous sidebar column offers alternative, less conventional methods for giving books to the priest in the church, like throwing them from a distance or bouncing them off walls, adding a lighthearted touch to the serious dungeon crawling. This page continues the Landstalker guide, following Lyle's escape from Mercator Castle and the discovery that Princess Roguria has also escaped. Duke Mercator has fled by ship, taking soldiers with him, making pursuit urgent. However, the Duke destroyed the lighthouse in Ryuma port before leaving, preventing ships from navigating the dense fog. The immediate objective is to go to Ryuma and speak with the townspeople. It's revealed that repairing the lighthouse requires the legendary Sunstone, which can be found in the infamous Green Maze, also known as the Lost Children's Forest. This forest is a challenging area where it's easy to get lost, looping back on yourself, so careful mapping or note-taking is essential for progress. Screenshots show Lyle interacting with various characters and environments, including a scene at a bridge, the damaged Ryuma port and lighthouse, a meeting with the townspeople, and entering the Green Maze. A helpful tip mentions checking the map located at the inn, which provides a general layout of Mercator Island and your current location. The page emphasizes the difficulty of the maze, both above and below ground, stating that navigating it requires determination and focus. Finally, the developers comment on the completion of 2 games, highlighting the fatigue despite finishing. This page features an announcement for the Mega Drive game, Maiten no Sumetsu. The page displays key art showing characters and a monstrous figure within a large, ornate mirror frame, set against a turbulent background. Text on the left provides a story synopsis, describing the protagonists Alunas and Lilith meeting a knight and embarking on a journey filled with strange events and battles, supported by companions like a ninja. It mentions the challenges they face and how Lilith's kindness helps Alunas. The game is scheduled for release at the end of January.
Technical details highlight that it features an 8 meg room and battery backup, with a tentative price of 8,900 yen, excluding tax. This appears to be a role-playing or action game based on the included synopsis and character depictions. This page continues coverage of the Mega Drive game Maiten no Sumetsu, featuring the same striking key art with Alunas, Lilith, and the mysterious figures reflected in the ornate mirror. A dramatic line is highlighted vertically on the right side, reading, "Alunas, who is the shadow standing behind you?"
This text emphasizes a central conflict or mystery within the game's narrative, directly relating to the shadowy figure depicted in the mirror's reflection. This page introduces Balljacks, a competitive sports game from Namco planned for a November release. Described as a SPO game with a Gashon feel, it builds on the concept of WrestleBall, featuring intense battles where players use flying rocket hands to snatch a ball. Despite its seemingly simple rules, the game offers significant depth, requiring players not only to master the technique of using their rocket hands for catching and interference, but also to employ strategic thinking related to time limits and damaging the opponent's machine. The main screenshot showcases the arena from an overhead view, detailing various interactive elements like elevators, safety zones, and warning lights. The page also provides basic technical guidance, explaining how to use the rocket hands to catch the ball, emphasizing timing and distance. It also covers defensive tactics, primarily ball cutting, which involves using your hands to prevent the opponent from making a successful catch. This blend of simple action and tactical play is highlighted as a key feature of Balljacks. This page delves deeper into the mechanics and modes of Balljacks. It explains that colliding with a ball your opponent caught or one you've released results in significant damage, causing your machine to stop temporarily and drop any balls it's holding, making defense critical. After 4 damage hits, your machine explodes and slows down, requiring you to move to the central hatch for repairs, which take time but are essential. Victory is determined by either holding 4 balls while the opponent's time runs out, or by having more balls than your opponent when the match timer reaches 0. If the ball count is tied at the end, the first player to have caught a ball wins. The page highlights the 3 main ways to play. World Championship mode, where you compete against varied computer opponents through a series of stages leading to the Galaxy Championship. 1 PvS2P mode, offering head-to-head battles where individual player strategy shines. And Training mode, featuring free practice to hone your catching skills, and Time Trial to test how many balls you can catch within a time limit. Finally, several robot character designs are previewed, along with a note from the creators speculating on the multi-purpose nature of 77th century robots, suggesting that while competition models have rocket hands, civilian versions might sport shopping baskets or even utensils, and they all move sideways for some reason. This page is all about the highly anticipated puzzle game, Puyo Puyo. Originating from Compile's popular Madu Monogatari RPG series, it's a block-dropping puzzler where you match 4 or more same-colored Puyos to clear them and send garbage blocks to your opponent. The page highlights that it's perfect for arcade-style competitive play at home, even comparing it favorably to columns. It delves into the various modes available. The core is the head-to-head competitive mode, where chaining clears is crucial, as it sends devastating amounts of garbage Puyos to overwhelm your rival. The frustration of losing and the satisfaction of big chains are emphasized, complete with mentions of the iconic voice samples. There's also a non-competitive endless mode where carbuncle might appear, causing chaotic color changes, and a high-score mode where aiming for massive chains is key, featuring giant Puyos at higher difficulties. Carbuncle is noted to appear in the high-score mode too, sometimes clearing the screen entirely. It's clear the reviewer is excited about the game's addictive nature and competitive depth. This page details the single-player knockout mode of Puyo Puyo, where you challenge a series of AI opponents. It covers the first 4 levels, highlighting the unique characteristics and strategies of each opponent. Level 1 serves as a beginner test, emphasizing basic play and avoiding simple mistakes. Level 2 introduces faster stacking, but the opponent can be unpredictable, sometimes using quick-fire spells. Early chains are recommended here. Level 3 features a more consistent and calculating opponent, requiring players to stay calm and adapt their strategy rather than getting flustered. Level 4 and beyond bring increasingly difficult foes like Harpy, who uses tricky stacking patterns, necessitating strong central stacking and aggressive early chains to overcome. The page includes screenshots showing protagonist Arle Naja battling various monsters from the Madu Monogatari series, such as the Skeleton, a fish-like creature, Zoh Daimao, and Harpy. Comic panels feature Arle, Rulu, and Carbuncle. The developer expresses excitement about the home version, calling it a super exciting game praised by the media, encouraging players to enjoy it thoroughly. This page features the Sega Mega Drive game Crying Subterranean Life War, a shooter game set for release on October 30th. The game is described as 100% complete with 2-player simultaneous play and features biological enemies. It highlights the player ship selection, offering 2 main types, fish and insect,
with 4 variations total. Each has distinct advantages depending on the situation, like the fish type's homing laser, or the insect type's reflective ring, or omnidirectional lasers. The page also showcases some favorite characters, featuring a crab-like enemy and a writhing worm-like creature. A detailed stage introduction covers the early levels. Stage 1 involves a diagonal descent from orbit to the planet's surface, with enemies appearing along the way, but notably, the final boss is absent here. Stage 2 introduces unpleasant, weaponized enemies, including those with homing missiles, and others that move on rails, requiring quick takedowns. Stage 3 is highlighted as best representing the game's aesthetic, with its jungle setting, and diverse biological enemies like large insects, crabs, and segmented flying creatures, where colliding with enemies is a key threat. Stage 7 is briefly previewed, showing industrial environments with garbage disposal hazards and what appears to be spider-like foes. This page continues the look at the Sega Mega Drive shooter Crying. It dives into the details of later stages, starting with Stage 4, a cave environment where movement is restricted, making it challenging to deal with the numerous soft, slime-like enemies. The Stage 4 boss is a giant biological creature that's tough and has good texture and color. Moving to Stage 5, we enter an underwater setting where the fish-type ship excels due to its weapons and mobility. Expect strange aquatic foes resembling sushi and deep-sea creatures, culminating in a massive crab boss that fires missiles. Stage 6 presents a giant battleship, a common trope in shooters. But here its internal structure becomes increasingly biological as you inflict damage, a curious design choice. The screenshots show different sections of the ship, from external cannons to pulsating inner parts. Finally, Stage 7 takes place in industrial or factory ruins, a locale reminiscent of Stage 2. This stage is characterized by an incredibly high enemy density and challenging terrain like narrow passages and trash disposal areas. The Insecta-type ship is particularly useful here, leveraging its reflective rings and omnidirectional lasers. The boss for Stage 7 is described as a small, fast enemy that jumps erratically, proving difficult to lock down despite its size. A brief message from the developer expresses confidence as the game approaches its October 30th release date, noting it's ready to be sent out. The page then transitions to the prospect of Stage 8. This page features the puzzle game Lemmings. Published by Sunsoft and released on October 30th, the goal is to rescue the lost lemmings. The main challenge lies in commanding the lemmings effectively with good timing. Commands are given by selecting an action from the menu at the bottom of the screen and applying it to a specific lemming. The lemmings move continuously, so quick decisions are needed, especially for actions like creating blockers or diggers, where timing is crucial. Pausing to plan is suggested as a good strategy. The page highlights specific challenges and solutions. Lemmings can die from falls, emphasizing the need for floaters, but also notes that thinking outside the box for safe descent is key. Steep slopes or high ledges require builders to create stairs. Obstacles like directional walls require creative use of diggers and blockers to first access the other side and then create a passage, often ending with the blocker needing to be bombed to clear the way. The screenshots show the command menu, various gameplay situations like falls, building stairs, and digging through walls, illustrating the strategic depth of the game. Success depends on flexible thinking and precise execution. This page focuses on the versus mode in Lemmings. While the core gameplay remains the same, the screen is split left and right, and players compete to guide their designated lemmings, green or blue, to their own exit on a shared stage. The goal is simple: rescue more lemmings than your opponent. You can only command your own colored lemmings, but critically, you can interfere with the opponent's lemmings. The key to victory in versus mode isn't just saving your own, but actively disrupting the opponent. This is emphasized as the best strategy. Various interference tactics are shown, such as creating pitfalls, destroying stairs, or placing blockers, especially near the opponent's exit or right at the start. The game continues until one player can no longer rescue any lemmings. The page also highlights a specific challenge stage featuring characters from the Hibareki series. An attempt was made to clear it without harming the characters, but the result shown indicates this was impossible, requiring specific characters like O-chan and Jennifer to be harmed to progress. The developer's corner notes that this Mega Drive version includes new original stages and encourages players to hone their skills in single-player before diving into the competitive two-player mode. This page dives into Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2i, a highly anticipated strategy simulation from Koei, set in 2nd-3rd century China. This is the third installment in the series, releasing in autumn and boasting a massive 12 meg cartridge size, a significant upgrade. The most noticeable change is the graphical overhaul. The main map screen now emphasizes roads instead of just territory borders, and the strategic combat view transitions from 2Ds to a 3D quarter-view perspective. Famous locations like Chibi and Wuzhong Plains are featured, adding to the immersive experience. Officer abilities have been greatly expanded. In addition to intelligence, might, and charm, new stats like politics, land command, and water command are introduced. Politics affects diplomacy and domestic rule, while land and water command are crucial for tactical combat, enabling powerful, concentrated attacks when high. Character creation makes a welcome return. While Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 allowed creating only one ruler, this game steps it up significantly, letting you create up to 8 rulers, 3 playable at game start, and a whopping 60 custom officers. Crucially, names can now be registered using kanji, fixing a previous limitation. The page walks through the character creation steps, choosing type, setting birthdate and gender, distributing ability points, and selecting a portrait from numerous options. This depth in character customization is a highlight. This page details several key systems in Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2i, highlighting the enhanced depth compared to previous installments. It first explains the rank system, dividing officers into civilian, military, general, and strategist roles, each with different access to commands. Generals and strategists are advanced types of military and civilian officers respectively, capable of most actions but with limitations on continuous commands. The position of Grand Administrator is also discussed. Next, the crucial role of the spy command is revealed. Unlike earlier games, intelligence on neighboring cities, including officer details, must be gathered by sending spies. Mission duration significantly impacts the quality of information received, with longer missions providing better results. Screenshots illustrate the process and the resulting data.
Finally, diplomacy is presented as a deep negotiation game, moving beyond simple yes/no options. Strategic advice and specific conditions now play a significant role in diplomatic interactions. The visual interface for diplomacy is more engaging, and there's even an option to assign an escort to protect your envoy, adding another layer of strategy. A list of commands shows the extensive actions available across military, personnel, diplomacy, information gathering, development, strategy, merchant activities, and special actions. This page dives deep into Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2i, showcasing significant upgrades over previous installments. The war screen has evolved from a simple 2D view to a strategic 3D perspective, featuring detailed cities, walls, gates, and streets that enhance strategic depth. Battles can now take place on various terrains, including water, mountains, and plains, each requiring tailored tactics. The game introduces new unit types like infantry, archers, catapults, and cavalry, each possessing unique characteristics, such as ranged attack capabilities for archers and catapults, and superior movement for cavalry. Strategy options are greatly expanded, allowing players to employ tactics like setting traps, using fire attacks, spreading false information, or causing confusion among enemy troops. A comprehensive list of battle commands is available, covering movement, various attack types, including duels between officers, strategic maneuvers, information gathering, and retreat options. The game also features dramatic elements, like one-on-one duels, influenced by the participating officers' personalities, and the ability to find strategic items or encounter famous historical figures like Zuo Sik, adding further depth to the experience. Overall, the combat and strategic elements have been significantly powered up. This page is an advertisement for Santa, a Sega specialty store, promoting their vast selection of software and hardware with the enticing offer of all products tax included. It features a festive Santa Claus and a charming mouse character, setting a cheerful tone for holiday shopping. The store highlights Santa's recommendations, showcasing popular titles like Landstalker and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 among their top picks from September to November releases. Beyond these, the page details an extensive catalog of games for the Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear, covering a wide array of genres with associated prices. They even list titles for the Mark II-I/Master System, including both Japanese and European/Indicus versions, indicating a diverse inventory for Sega enthusiasts. Practical information for ordering is provided, outlining phone orders,
payment via cash on delivery, and details on shipping costs, which vary depending on the destination within Japan. This page serves as a comprehensive guide for Sega fans looking to expand their game collection, offering a broad range of titles and clear purchasing instructions. This page features Climax Entertainment and announces the completion of Landstalker. Titled Absolute King Kingdom Act 4, it opens with a humorous section documenting director Hiroshi Naito's rather challenging waking habits during crunch time, recounting his staff's attempts to get him up. The main event is the congratulatory announcement of Landstalker's completion, featuring staff comments with tips on how to play the game, such as mastering jumps and attacks, exploring everything, and enjoying the scenery. The page also shows various screenshots from the game, highlighting its isometric perspective and exploration elements. There's a small section by Tohoku, humorously detailing his earnings from playing pachinko and slots during the final push for Landstalker, stating he made 130,000 yen this month. The page concludes with a report titled Ohori Masters Landstalker Production Report. This page delves into the true faces of the Landstalker staff, introducing key members beyond the director. It features Kiyoharu Matsumoto, a programmer who handled the title screen, subscreens, and effects, noted for his intense dedication during crunch time. Also profiled is Hirotada Katozaka, the graphic designer responsible for most of the monsters and objects in the game, known for his love of old TV shows and his passion for motorcycles, commuting by bike regardless of weather. The page also includes the third part of a serialized novel titled Spacecraft Story by Yoshiki Tagawa. Visuals include staff photos and character artwork, featuring a mascot character named Rapless-chan. Towards the bottom, there's a thank you message for fan club applications, and details on how to apply to the Landstalker fan club via postcard, with plans for membership cards and newsletters. This page provides a platform for third-party developers to share insights directly with readers. There's a section from Namco focusing on the development of their Genesis game, Balljacks. The developers recount the process, emphasizing the effort to create a unique analog feel and the balancing challenges that led to passionate, and sometimes heated, playtesting sessions. An illustration featuring a robot and a female character from the game is shown. Data West contributes a piece about Psychic Detective Series Volume 3, Aya. Written in a conversational, almost character-like style, it touches on the game and its promotion, featuring illustrations of a mysterious woman, and the distinct Aya logo with the series title. This corner acts as a casual space for developers to connect with fans. This page features the magazine's Corner section, where third-party developers get a space to share freely with readers. Scene 2 presents updates from two companies. First up is Koei, focusing on the Mega Drive version of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2i. They announce the game's release on November 8th and reveal a special bonus, a 3.5-inch calendar included with the initial print run of 200,000 copies. The section is presented in a light-hearted comic strip style and features an illustration by Norio Shioyama. Below, developer Riot shares some trouble talk about their game, A Rank Thunder. This segment details the challenging and extremely long voice recording sessions for the game, humorously recounting how they lasted until the early morning hours and still weren't complete. The text mentions the voice actors getting a bit wild towards the end, and pokes fun at the director's drinking habits. A highlight is the confirmation that Shimon Masato, famous for TV theme songs, is singing the theme for A Rank Thunder. The section includes dynamic character illustrations for the game. The page concludes with a small note mentioning Konami's planned appearance next month. This page features a column by Jam Ojisan discussing the state of the TV game market, specifically focusing on the Sega Mega Drive, titled Changing the Flow with Planning Power. The column emphasizes the need for innovative game design to compete in the evolving market. Jam Ojizan highlights Riot's Magical Girl Silky Lip as an example of unique planning power, noting its potential despite being a Mega CD title, a format not yet widely adopted. He discusses how ambitious game design is crucial for the Mega Drive to distinguish itself from platforms like the Super Famicom. The page showcases examples of noteworthy games, including good arcade game port examples, like the excellent translation of Ghouls and Ghosts, and the classic racing sim Super Monaco GP. It also features scenario-focused RPG examples, such as the Dungeon Crawler Shining in the Darkness and Lunar, pointing out their strong narrative focus. Finally, Jam Ojisan notes other ambitious titles, including the unique isometric RPG Landstalker, praising its implementation of verticality and rich scenario. The author expresses optimism for the Mega Drive's future, believing ambitious projects will continue to drive its growth. This page features a column by Eric C. Sedensky titled, Eric's Addiction Column. Pegged. Game Experience Log. Eric discusses how his gaming habits have shifted from RPGs like Lunar and Cosmic Fantasy towards sports games on the Mega Drive as the seasons change. He highlights Speedball, likely Speedball 2, Brutal Deluxe, as his current favorite, enjoying its challenging nature. He also talks about Honu no Dodge Danpei, based on the Dodge Danpei manga/anime, which triggers strong nostalgic feelings, reminding him of childhood dodgeball games and even the movie Rollerball. He describes how his team played dodgeball loosely, similar to the competitive, sometimes brutal, style depicted in Rollerball, and how the game Dodge Danpei captures this nostalgic feeling. The page includes a small section at the bottom introducing Dodge Danpei and its history, along with a screenshot of the game. Eric reflects on a particularly intense match where he was the last one standing against a strong opponent, eventually winning, which was a memorable experience. He concludes by wondering if others have similar nostalgic gaming experiences. This page features a special contribution novel side story for the tactical simulation game Vixen 357, written by Akio Masuda, who was the public relations chief at Messiah, the game's developer. The novel is titled Vixen 357 Gaiden, exposing the naked forms of fighting men. The page includes 2 chapters from the novel, Chapter 1, Night Training, and Chapter 27, Emergency Call. These sections provide a narrative within the Vixen 357 universe, following characters like Takuya and Harry Gibson, and mentioning vector pilots. The story seems to delve into the personal experiences and struggles of the characters involved in the conflict depicted in the game. A book review section is also present, evaluating the novel. It appears to discuss themes of reality and fantasy, mentioning Vixen 357 and elements like golems or mechanical beings, and the author's engaging writing style. Finally, there is a profile of the author, Akio Masuda, with a photo highlighting his role at Messiah and his unique character within the game industry. Illustrations of characters and a mech, likely from Vixen 357, accompany the text, bringing the game's world to life within the magazine. This page features the monthly Switch Times column, starting with a report on a trip to France. The author recounts accompanying comedian Mitsuru Fukikoshi of Wahaha Honpo to Dubai for a film festival. Fukikoshi performed a RoboCop comedy act for international journalists, which apparently included adult and risque humor. Despite initial expectations for an exciting trip, the performance was met with a disappointing reception from the local audience, which included neighborhood elders. The page also includes the Switch 4-panel theater comic strip. A significant section details the development status of the Sega game titled Switch. Located near Oda Market, the Sega development department is reported to be making steady progress, with the game currently 50% complete and featuring an unusually high number of screens. There is also a brief piece featuring Mitsuru Fukikoshi's thoughts, where he expresses his feelings about the word character. Finally, the Waha Hanpo communication section announces upcoming comedy performances by members, including a 2-person play and a solo show, inviting readers to attend. This page presents a large mail-order advertisement and price list from GameBank, offering a wide variety of new game products. The focus is on competitive pricing and quick delivery, stating all items are new. Featured prominently is the Super Famicom console itself, listed with its price and basic shipping cost. There are sections detailing upcoming Super Famicom software releases, including titles like Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2i and Fatal Fury, along with anticipated release dates and prices. The page also includes extensive lists of Super Famicom games, available at special great deals prices, featuring well-known titles such as Castlevania, Ultima Vix, Prince of Persia, Magic Sword, and Mario Paint. Beyond Super Famicom, there's a listing for the PC Engine Duo console and sections dedicated to PC Engine CD and Super CD-ROM 2 titles, also highlighting special prices for games like Snatcher, Ranma 1/2, and Wizardry vs. Bot. A notable part of the page announces a grand opening sale for the GameBank Santamibashi store, listing special bargain prices for Super Famicom hits including Final Fantasy IV, Street Fighter II, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, and On the Ball. The announcement details the opening date and location in Maebashi City. Finally, there is an advertisement for the Barcode Battler 2 accessory and details on how to place mail orders via phone or mail, along with payment information. This page is a mail-order catalog advertisement from GameBank, focusing heavily on Sega's Mega Drive and Game Gear consoles and software. The headline teases a major Mega Drive release in mid-November, boasting a large 16 mega capacity, though the title is kept secret for now. Prominently featured are listings for the Mega Drive console itself at a competitive price, along with key upcoming releases like Landstalker, Air Management, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2 Eyes. The page includes extensive lists covering the latest Mega Drive software, discounted titles with low stock, and CD-ROM squared software bargains, featuring well-known games like Super Hang-In, Columns, Golden Axe 2, Spider-Man, Space Harrier 2, Streets of Rage, and Thunder Force IV. There's also a dedicated section highlighting games featuring popular characters such as Donald Duck, Quackshot, Mickey Mouse, Castle of Illusion, Columns, and Battlemania, often at special prices. The Game Gear console is listed alongside a selection of its games, including titles from the Shining Force and Sonic series. Finally, a large section promotes a telephone information service, providing game news, popularity rankings, and secrets, with a chance to win free software via a quiz. This telephone service is priced at 40 yen per minute. Banking details are provided for placing orders. This page contains a detailed questionnaire for readers, asking for their feedback on the magazine and their gaming habits. It serves as a way for the editors to understand their audience better. The survey covers various aspects, starting with basic demographics like gender, age, and occupation. It then delves into readers' gaming world, asking how many Mega Drive games they own and which gaming magazines they read regularly. The questionnaire also seeks direct feedback on the current issue, requesting readers to list articles they found both interesting and uninteresting. A significant part of the survey is dedicated to understanding reader preferences regarding hardware ownership and desired game purchases. There's a question about which consoles readers own, including the Mega Drive, Sega CD, Genesis, Super Famicom, PC Engine, Game Boy, Game Gear, and others. Finally, readers are asked which single game they most want to buy from a provided list of nearly 100 titles. This list is extensive, featuring a mix of Mega Drive and Sega CD classics like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Streets of Rage 2 listed as Bare Knuckle 2, Phantasy Star IV, Landstalker, Sonic CD, and Sylphid, alongside some more niche Japanese-only releases, and even a few games that weren't actually available on the system, perhaps reflecting reader wishlists, or simply list compilation errors. It's a fascinating snapshot of what was on Mega Drive gamers' minds at the time. This page is a special feature focusing on the new faces in the Mega Drive world. It highlights significant new developments, including Konami's entry into the Mega Drive market, an announcement from Sega and Falcom, and a tease about a new Sonic title. Visuals include screenshots of Konami games, like Tiny Toon Adventures and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with photos of executives likely discussing these developments. The article confirms Konami's long-awaited arrival on the Mega Drive, explaining that the decision was driven by strong user demand and the company's readiness for development. They state their first title will be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was highly anticipated. The piece also touches upon the competitive market and Konami's determination to expand their presence. There is also a hint of a new Sonic title in the works, and a collaboration between Sega and Falcom. This page continues the feature on Konami's arrival, highlighting their first Mega Drive title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, set for release in December alongside Sunset Riders. Konami explains the choice of TMNT due to its global appeal and confirms the Mega Drive version features an original story, subtitled Return of the Shredder, differentiating it from the Super Famicom release. They are planning a release pace of one new title every 2 to 3 months, with Tiny Toon Adventures also in the pipeline. While acknowledging their popular series like Mystical Ninja, Castlevania, and Gradius, Konami hints they may prioritize original titles for the Mega Drive rather than simply porting existing games, though they don't rule out ports entirely. Screenshots showcase the action-packed gameplay, character selection, and an intro sequence for the Mega Drive's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The page also features a picture of a Konami representative discussing these developments. This page continues the feature on Konami's arrival on the Mega Drive, including an interview with Mr. Kirita, head of Development Division 6, known as Kira-chan. He discusses their plans for the Mega CD, acknowledging strong user demand for features like animation and voice acting. While recognizing CD-ROM's capacity, Konami is exploring how to best utilize the hardware, including potentially using both CPU cores, rather than just fulfilling requests. The possibility of porting the PC Engine title Snatcher is mentioned, though Konami suggests a direct port is unlikely, humorously noting the PC Engine version was not the final conclusion. Konami is developing for multiple platforms, understanding many players own various consoles. The page heavily features Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Konami's debut Mega Drive title. It's highlighted for its strong action gameplay, described as having a play feel comparable to Golden Axe. Despite varied enemy types, the controls are simple, enabling players to perform flashy continuous actions, making it great for stress relief due to the good response. Screenshots demonstrate various gameplay moments and special moves. A specific note points out that players can fall into manholes. Character profiles introduce the 4 turtles: Leonardo, the sword-wielding leader; Michelangelo, the nunchaku fighter with a silly personality;
Donatello, the smart genius using a bond staff for reach; and Raphael, the wild yet calm sei expert skilled in close combat. This page continues the look at Konami joining the Mega Drive market, featuring more from the interview with Mr. Kirita. He characterizes the Japanese Mega Drive market as stable and notes growth internationally, particularly in America and Europe, with the user base steadily increasing worldwide. He also shares the developer's perspective, saying the hardware is easy to make games for. There's a message to waiting fans, acknowledging the long wait and hoping to meet their expectations. Featured alongside Konami's Mega Drive debut, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is a screenshot for Sunset Riders, another arcade port similar in style to TMNT, though its Japanese release date is currently undecided. The page provides a speed introduction to Stage 1 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Screenshots guide us through the level, showing fights in the subway and sewer areas, including a brief look at the first boss, arbitrarily named Laserhead, who attacks by charging and throwing knives once damaged. An interesting highlight is the option to play using character colors based on either the classic anime or the original comic versions, allowing players to switch depending on their preference. Additional screenshots give a glimpse of later stages, including action in a futuristic indoor environment. This page announces the first 5 titles from the joint venture Sega Falcom, ending the long wait since its establishment. The main feature is an interview with Mr. Yarino, explaining the strategic decision to adapt Nihon Falcom's hit series for the global Sega CD market, rather than just porting them directly. The goal is to interpret Falcom's titles in a new way, specifically tailored for worldwide acceptance. 2 prominent titles are highlighted.
The first is Sister Sonic, a remake based on the action RPG Pop Full Mail. It features a character related to Sonic the Hedgehog, stepping into the lead role, replacing Mail. The gameplay is described as an action-focused RPG, emphasizing animation and voice acting suited for the Chronodrome format. The second title is YSIV, Mask of the Sun, for the Mega CD, aiming to build upon the system of YS2. It promises a grand-scale adventure, produced under the direct supervision of Mr. Kato, the president of Falcom, as the definitive version of YSIV and a culmination of the series.
Images include a photo of Mr.
Yano, artwork related to the original Pop Full Mail, and screenshots from the original YS series, likely YS22, providing context for the games being adapted. This page previews 3 Sega Falcom titles for the Mega CD: Brandish, Lord Monarch, and Super Daisenso 3 SCD. Super Brandish, an action RPG, aimed for a power boost, featuring enhanced realism and character redesigns, although it wasn't released internationally on the Mega CD. Hyper Lord Monarch, a real-time strategy game, was significantly refined for the Mega CD, improving graphics and controls. It built upon the original, which challenged players to conquer kingdoms. Super Daisenso 3 SCD, a simulation title, evolves from earlier Mega Drive entries, focusing on modern warfare with contemporary military units and strategic gameplay, promising a larger experience due to the CD format.
The next page features a spotlight on Shining Force, the Sword of Hagia, the second game in the Shining Force series released on the Game Gear, developed by Sonic Company Limited. The article highlights its debut, breaking a 6-month silence from the company. There's an interview with President Hiroyuki Takahashi, who discusses the Game Gear title and Sonic's future plans. The Sword of Hagia is praised for its quality, described as remarkably high for a Game Gear title and not just a simple port. Its core system builds upon the Genesis version, featuring impressive battle animations and maintaining a good pace during strategic thinking phases. The scenario is entirely original, set slightly after the Genesis game's era, and includes new races and monsters, while primarily featuring new characters like the protagonist,
Beastman, Wendy, and Apis, some familiar faces from the Genesis game might make an appearance. The overall volume of content is noted to be about 80% of the Genesis original.
President Takahashi also shares that Sonic Company Limited plans to release 56 titles between the next year and March of the year after, a pace of roughly one game every 3 months. These titles won't be limited to the Shining series and will include surprising releases for both the Genesis and Sega CD platforms. The interview took place shortly after the company moved into its new building, a photo of which is also included on the page. The game was scheduled for release on December 18th for 5,500 yen. This page kicks off the Mega CD press section, diving straight into a highly anticipated title, 3x3 Eyes, Legend of the Holy Demon. Based on the popular manga, this is an RPG that thrusts players into a vibrant, detailed setting, the exotic streets of Hong Kong. The game follows Pai, the immortal Sanjian Unkara, and her human companion Hajime Yakumo as they embark on a quest to find the secret to becoming fully human. Their search leads them to Hong Kong, in pursuit of Chen Ayuri, a contact who is apparently linked to Yakumo's missing father and works for a mysterious company called Yokikisha. The article delves into Yokikisha, describing it as a well-known entity in Hong Kong dealing with occult matters, publishing a related magazine, and even performing exorcisms. Currently 60% complete and scheduled for a spring release as a one-player Keydrom RPG, the game is generating excitement. The reviewer highlights the extensive 8-minute anime opening sequence, which sets the stage for the adventure, detailing Pei and Yakumo's journey to Hong Kong. This level of animated storytelling is a significant feature for a Mega CD title. The page features character portraits of Pei and Yakumo, alongside screenshots that showcase the detailed cityscape and character sprites. This page details the initial exploration of Hong Kong in 3x3 Eyes, Legend of the Holy Demon, presenting it as a fully functional hub town equipped with essential RPG facilities like weapon and item shops, as well as more unusual locations like talisman, meat, and fish stores, although not all shops are fully interactive for purchases right away. The central location is Yokikisha, which is crucial for progression. Its reception serves as a save point, and the building houses other useful areas like storage and a temporary room for resting. Gaining access initially requires finding Chen Ayuri, but he quickly becomes the target of the search itself, having reportedly headed to Kowloon. The significant event highlighted is the recruitment of Lickling into the party, expanding your investigation capabilities. The narrative then pivots towards the mysterious Kowloon area, and a peculiar cult known as the Kowloon cult, which is generating suspicious rumors. Chen Ayuri is apparently investigating this same cult, suggesting it's tied directly into the larger demonic conspiracy. The page features numerous screenshots showcasing the detailed urban environments, character sprites, and interiors of the various shops and buildings you'll encounter. This page dives into the development of 3x3 Eyes, Legend of the Holy Demon, with an interview featuring the project leader. Development has been underway for nearly 2 years, with animation nearing completion by the end of October, including about 70% of battle scenes finished. The interview reveals impressive scale for a Mega CD title, boasting around 3,500 animation frames in total. Monster variety is also substantial, with 180 types including color changes. A key highlight is the detailed animation, especially in battle. The article showcases specific movement patterns for characters, noting the complexity of monster animations, which originally had up to 300 frames per creature before optimization. The page also emphasizes the significance of non-player characters in the game's narrative. Notably, new characters specifically for the Mega CD version were created and drawn by the original manga author, Yuzo Takata, underscoring their importance. Sati is pointed out as a particularly crucial NPC, with roots in Southeast Asia or India, hinting at her role in the unfolding story. This page continues the deep dive into 3x3 Eyes, Legend of the Holy Demon, focusing on gameplay systems and characters. The interview touches on the game's AI battle system, contrasting it with other RPGs known for their AI options like Dragon Quest V and Final Fantasy V, both shown via screenshots for comparison. The developers state their AI is quite capable, aiming to make automatic battles effective, but they emphasize the fun of manual command input. The page also features a list of key characters and their voice actors, including Pai, voiced by Megumi Hayashibara, and Yakumo Fuji, voiced by Koji Tsujitani, among others. A section specifically highlights the character Ayakoji Yuko,
discussing her background after losing her memory and living a normal high school life for 4 years, noting this part of the story is complex and shaped by the original author's involvement. The page rounds off by showing images of the manga volumes, reinforcing the game's source material. The developers mention that while the story closely follows the original work supervised by Yuzo Takada, it includes unique elements and multiple endings, with no immediate plans for a sequel at the time of publication. This page features a special look at Wolf Team's plans for the Sega Mega CD. With an interview with Masahiro Akishino, he expresses excitement about the platform, stating that titles like Thunderstorm FX and Time Gal demonstrate the Mega Cred's power, particularly in handling high-quality visuals and video, exceeding capabilities seen on systems like the PC Engine. Wolf Team aims to be a strong force in Mega CD development, highlighting a lineup of 6 upcoming games. Akishino also emphasizes the importance of their original characters, such as Ernest Evans and Annette, who they plan to expand upon, mentioning the upcoming game Annette Futatabi will feature a deep story. The page also dives into Wolf Team's media mix strategy, introducing the Apros project. Starting as a PC-98 adventure game and branching into manga, anime video, and image skeeds, Apros is described as a fantasy story, with a feel similar to Nausicaa, centered around characters like the People of the Wind. Akishino notes that titles like Devastator were early steps in this approach, and Wolf Team intends to take the lead in future multimedia endeavors, promising a powerful, unannounced title is on the way. Illustrations of characters related to Apros are also shown. This page continues the deep dive into Wolf Team's ambitious plans for the Mega CD. Building on previous discussions, they reflect on their early development phase for the platform, emphasizing the importance of continuously releasing titles to gain experience and improve quality. They highlight games like Thunderstorm FX as examples of their evolving approach and state their goal to leverage their technical expertise, aiming for high-quality visuals reminiscent of arcade systems like Namco's System 21, positioning themselves as global leaders on the Mega CD. The page also provides updates on specific titles. Arcus I, II, and II is confirmed to be developing smoothly for the Mega CD, with promises of new content not present in previous versions like Arcus Odyssey. Furthermore, a significant section focuses on Devastator, revealing new details and screenshots. This Mega CD title is presented as a multimedia project tied to an OVA. The gameplay features intense action and shooting, with both vertical and horizontal scrolling stages, designed to link directly to the OVA's story and world. The article praises the high level of detail in the game's setting and mecha design. Devastator is noted as being 50% complete and targeting a February release. A sidebar also announces that the official Wolf Team fan club, Wolf Gamers, is currently recruiting new members. This page focuses on the return of Annette, the protagonist from the classic Wolf Team action game El Viento, in a new title for the Mega CD. After about a year, she's back, having seemingly matured by 3 years for this new adventure, which is part of the Ernest Evans series. The big news is that Annette is reviving on the Mega CD. Wolf Team confirms they've been quietly developing this sequel to El Viento alongside other projects. The new game, officially titled Annette Again, is described as building upon the action gameplay of El Viento, enhancing it further while significantly boosting the visuals to maximize Annette's appeal. Fans of the original and those who enjoy pure action are promised a rewarding experience. Screenshots show the distinctive side-scrolling action style. The page also looks back at the series' history, with sections on El Viento and Ernest Evans. El Viento is highlighted as Annette's debut, praised for its extensive character animations and smooth movement, which impressed many Gal game fans despite some balance issues. Ernest Evans, an earlier Mega CD title, is noted for its innovative multi-jointed character movements, though its story was considered a bit difficult to follow. Another character, Siegfried, from the series, is also featured, with speculation on his role in the new game. The new Annette title is currently 50% complete and slated for a January release. This page continues the discussion about Wolf Team's eagerly awaited return of a Tenet on the Mega CD. The feature highlights the deep connection Wolf Team has with their character, Annette, who is described as an idol. The new game, set 3 years after the original El Viento, features a 20-year-old Annette, with a design chosen from within the company. The core message is that the game significantly upgrades both visuals and gameplay. New actions like consecutive attacks, throws, and defense are added, greatly expanding the player's options. A major visual enhancement is the inclusion of anime-like story scenes, a hallmark of Mega CD titles, boasting 1,000 frames of animation, double that of Ernest Evans, and better integrated into the story flow. Crucially, the developers have addressed criticisms from the previous game. The number of Annette's character animation patterns has increased dramatically to 144. The magic system has been improved, changing from a charge and release method to a more flexible free charge system. Screenshots showcase the detailed pixel art and backgrounds, confirming the return to the side-scrolling action style. The page ends with a firm statement that Annette again is not a casual character game, promising a substantial experience. This page presents Road Blaster FX, described as Wolf Team's third installment in their LD series for the Mega CD, marking the entry into the second golden age of LD games. The article hails it as the real deal, promising non-stop action driven by a concept of running for revenge, and distinguished from typical driving games by its strong storytelling and cinematic direction. The reviewer was impressed after seeing the arcade version's video, noting the compelling visuals and narrative presentation that prevent boredom. Road Blaster first appeared years ago during the peak of LD games, but this new version delivers a powerful impact, with fresh cutscene scenes and an improved game system that requires quick reactions to on-screen indicators. The page features screenshots showing intense action sequences, stylized vehicles, and the game's dynamic pixel art environments. A significant difference from the arcade version highlighted is the addition of dashboard meters and gauges on the screen, enhancing the immersive feel, and the inclusion of impactful 3D binaural sound. The controls are simple, using direction buttons for steering and face buttons for turbo and brake. The overall sentiment is captured by the bold statement, "This is truly an action movie." The Mega CD version is said to be almost indistinguishable from the arcade original, a testament to Wolf Team's work. The Mega CD version of Road Blaster features 9 stages and departs significantly from the original, offering intense chase scenes and city rampages. Players engage with rival biker gangs and other characters. The game follows a man seeking revenge after his wife is murdered during their honeymoon. Gameplay is viewed from a first-person perspective, complete with a dashboard, showing battles against trucks and helicopters. The game utilizes enhanced binaural audio that now supports speakers, allowing for a more immersive stereo sound experience. A recent Thunderstorm FX tournament in Tokyo saw Famitsu take first place, with MegaDrive in second. The BeepMD team, however, was eliminated in the first round. This page dives into the Mega CD version of Time Gal, an upgraded port of the classic Laserdisc game. The reviewer is clearly impressed, stating, "This is crazy good," after playing a sample and urging readers to read the article to find out why. Noting a 95% completion gauge, the page features the lyrics to the game's opening song, titled Beyond Time and Space, crediting the lyricist, composer, and singer. It's presented alongside numerous screenshots from the game's dynamic opening animation, showcasing the protagonist, Rika, in action. Some screenshots have text overlays, appearing to be parts of the song lyrics or possibly staff credits related to the animation sequence itself. It focuses heavily on the presentation and opening sequence, hinting at the quality of this enhanced Mega CD version. This page provides a detailed introduction to the Mega CD version of Time Gal. It features a vibrant illustration showcasing protagonist Rika alongside the antagonist, Lupa, identified as Ruda-sama in the Japanese text, and other characters, emphasizing the game's dynamic visuals promised by the Mega CD format. The text expresses excitement about the game's impending release and the anticipation surrounding Rika's adventures. It introduces the core gameplay loop, highlighting that even Stage 1 requires 5 instances of time travel to progress and reach Lupa. A key gameplay mechanic, time stop, is explained. This occurs at critical moments when 4 circular lamps outside the screen illuminate, signaling either a quick time event for time stop, providing 3 action choices, or a shooting sequence requiring the player to draw Rika's gun. The page stresses that swift reactions to these prompts are crucial for success. Screenshots illustrate these sequences across various time periods, including encounters with primitive men and mammoths, demonstrating the diverse settings players will navigate using these mechanics. The reviewer notes that timing button presses is critical, often relying on player judgment. This page continues the look at Time Gal on the Mega CD, diving into stages 2 and 3. Stage 2 takes you from the Middle Ages to the present day. Expect intense sword fights in the Roman Colosseum, thrilling aerial combat over Pearl Harbor reminiscent of classic war movies, and encounters with modern soldiers. There's even a scene in a mine and a confrontation with a chilling monster. The text notes the time stop mechanic is present even in modern settings, though the weapons might seem a bit dated. Moving into the future, Stage 3 is set in a future, described as the most appealing period for time travel. This stage features action-packed Mad Max-style chase scenes, battles against imposing threats like the evil mech Zio, and dodging catastrophic events like meteorite showers. Aerial combat featuring the Space Child mech is particularly highlighted, suggesting it's so exciting it could be a game on its own. The page also shows a monstrous alien encounter.
A notable feature exclusive to the Mega CD version is the password function or replay mode. After clearing a stage, you get a password that lets you revisit and replay that specific stage, which is presented as a convenient tool for players wanting to record their gameplay. This page gives us a special look at Wolf Team's take on Romance of the Three Kingdoms for the Sega Mega CD, titled Tenbu Sangokushi, highlighting how it differs from the PC version and declaring production is moving smoothly. Based on the historical text, the game promises a historically accurate simulation experience. A key feature emphasized is the MVIWS multi-window system, allowing players to access various types of information like force details, central and local personnel, and individual officer parameters simultaneously, as shown in the array of screenshots. The package illustration is handled by Sumi Hisashi, an artist well known for his work on the Wizardry series. The BGM is provided by the three-person unit 135, known for their distinct Asian-inspired sound, and a photo of the band performing is included. Additionally, the game integrates live-action footage from the 1985 Chinese film, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Yuge Liang, for its opening and visual scenes, adding a cinematic feel. This page dives into Pro Yaku Super League CD for the Sega Mega CD, scheduled for release on October 30th. It's presented as more than just a simple baseball game, boasting a high level of realism thanks to official licensing from the Japan Professional Baseball League. The game features data for a robust 25 real players per team, a significant increase for baseball titles at the time, particularly in the number of detailed pitcher stats available. The page highlights the detailed player data provided for key players across the league, covering batting, pitching, and various ability parameters like power, contact, speed, and pitching effectiveness. Beyond the player roster, the game includes 6 different stadiums, some fictional but realistically rendered, with the option for day or night games in exhibition mode. The Mega CD format allows for enhanced presentation, including player introductions before at-bats and cutscenes, aiming to provide a more immersive experience that replicates watching a real baseball game. A simulation mode is also mentioned, adding depth beyond just playing individual games. The reviewer seems impressed by how the CD format expands the possibilities and enjoyment of a baseball game. Pro Yaku Super League CD offers several gameplay modes. The game's structure includes options to continue saves, start new games, and view player data, branching into pennant and exhibition modes. The 2-player exhibition allows for team analysis and competitive matches with a 25-player roster, with the added intensity of hidden pitcher stamina. The manual pennant mode lets players manage a season of varying lengths, 30 to 120 games, choosing to control gameplay fully, simulate it, or manage the team through instructions. Stats are tracked throughout the season, and while based on the 91 season, includes 92 players. Player data cards with detailed stats for batting, pitching, and abilities provide insight into the game's realistic player modeling. This page features Gyanburar Jikochushinya 2, Giki 2, Tokyo Mahjong Land Hen for the Mega CD. Based on the popular Mahjong manga, this sequel takes the action to a Mahjong-themed amusement park, with various attractions serving as different game modes. The game boasts a massive roster of 51 characters, including 30 new additions, bringing the eccentric cast to life. Reviewers highlight the significantly improved AI, now reportedly 3 times faster than the previous game, and enhanced character reactions with voice dialogue and dynamic zoomed-in portraits during play. A unique date Mahjong mode is also mentioned, adding a novel twist to the Mahjong gameplay. The presentation includes switching between realistic bamboo and classic blue plastic tile designs. Overall, it appears to be a feature-rich adaptation, focusing on character interaction and variety within the Mahjong framework. Date Mahjong in Gyanburar Jikochushinya 2 simulates first dates with Mahjong. Success hinges on understanding your date's Mahjong style. Dateable characters fall into 3 categories. Tako type, weak players who make mistakes. Tako tsumo, be patient, but watch out for lucky draws. Examples:
Kurara, Octopussy Fumi, etc. Hiki de Shubu type. Rely on luck. Avoid big hits and don't fold for cheap hands. Example. Early morning, Ming Kai. Beware of luck-draining or moderately skilled opponents, like Mahjong Vampire and Oshioki Mama. Hitasura Teku type. Skilled and calm. Understand their preferred hands and avoid direct hits. Examples. Nakajima Hako, Christine M., etc. Play steadily and cater to their preferences. This page features Ayaya Psychic Detective Series Volume 3, an adventure game for the Mega CD by Data West, promised to weave a tale through sound and visuals. The game centers on a peculiar request received by the protagonist, Kuzu Hamaki, a skilled analyst. He's tasked with simply meeting an old man in a specific location and checking for a tumor on his chest, a seemingly straightforward but strangely devoid of meaning instruction that kicks off the mystery. Gameplay is driven by commands, typical for the genre, allowing players to interact with the environment and characters using options like look, listen, use, and think. The think command is noted as particularly helpful when players are stuck. The page includes screenshots showcasing the game's visual style, featuring character portraits and scene depictions, giving a sense of the game's atmosphere as Kuzu Hamaki delves into this bizarre case. This page details Aya's Psychic Detective Series Volume 3, a Mega CD adventure game about a detective investigating a strange request regarding an old man and a tumor. This page continues to showcase the Mega CD game Aya's Psychic Detective Series Volume 3, shifting the focus to the crucial role of music. The main header declares that music doesn't just accompany visuals, but must be on the same level, asserting itself to truly bring the visuals to life. Aya understands that game music isn't just BGM. It's an active participant in the experience. Screenshots from the game illustrate moments where music is intended to enhance the atmosphere, such as during emotional character scenes or environmental shots. The page features an interview with Yasuhito Saito, the chief of the planning department's music section at Data West, who has worked on the Psychic Detective series since Volume 2 and the 4th unit series since Act 3. Saito shares his philosophy on game music, stating that even though it's for a game, he strives to create pieces that players will truly listen to and appreciate, perhaps even being able to hum along. He recounts getting into game music after initially aspiring to be a professional guitarist and being told by his employer that game software needed music. Saito strongly emphasizes the necessity of being able to play an instrument for anyone aspiring to compose game music, calling the idea that you can compose without this skill a falsehood. He focuses on creating music that evokes emotion and resonance with the player. This page dives into the Mega CD fighting game Black Hole Assault from Micronet, the sequel to the SF fighting action game Heavy Nova. It confirms a 100% completion gauge and a 2-player versus mode. The main focus is on the exhibition mode, offering tips for winning against opponents. It also mentions a limited edition package including an original soundtrack, CD. The page outlines 4 key points for success: seizing the opportunity when an enemy is downed, understanding character attack ranges, mastering air combat, and successfully countering throws, specifically mentioning the effective but counterable roller dash. A significant section introduces the game's 8 playable cams, characters, detailing their performance, strengths, and weaknesses. Specifically highlighted are Cam Type A, PsyQuest, described as a versatile standard type with diverse actions and a knack for speed-based continuous attacks, and mid/close-range moves like knee kicks and punch-uppercut combos. Cam Type B, Orion, is presented as having powerful flying attacks, noting the difference in its jump attack compared to Type A's kick. The page includes screenshots showcasing the character select screen and various in-game actions and special moves. This page continues the breakdown of the playable cam characters in Black Hole Assault. We see the remaining 6 fighters. Decreo, nicknamed Dinosaurkun, who uses a long tail as its main weapon. Megalania, the beginner killer, noted for its devastating Hammerclaw special move. Barry Onyx, a large, slow heavyweight who excels at close range after a quick dash. Dino, a powerful close-range character with strong claw attacks and headbutts. Sanity, the ninja, who specializes in instant warping and ranged attacks. And Chesber, a long-range fighter whose primary weapon is a potent headbeam. The descriptions offer insights into their unique playstyles and key techniques, highlighting the game's diverse roster. Below the character profiles, the page shifts to a report on the Sapporo Game Tournament for Black Hole Assault, hosted by Micronet. It recounts the journey to Sapporo, Hokkaido, and the competitive atmosphere of the event. The magazine's MegaDrive team participated, facing off against various opponents, including a PC team. The report details the team's performance, noting their victory against the MegaDrive division but a loss to the PC players. Despite the defeat, they managed to secure copies of the game for readers. The report features mentions of industry figures present at the event and concludes with a positive outlook on future gatherings. This page features 2 upcoming titles for the Mega CD. First up is Capcom no Quiz Tonosama no Yabu, a quiz game enhanced for the Mega CD with voice acting and a brand new 2-player versus mode absent from the arcade. This mode pits players against each other in a strategic territory capture battle across a map of Japan, where correctly answering quiz questions wins you land. Capturing the most territory wins, and quick wits are essential, but errors can cost you dearly, as shown in the battle and map screenshots. Below that, we get a look at VE, a classic-style RPG with impressive production values. The first chapter is nearing completion, and the text highlights its traditional feel with beautiful stone castles, lush fields, and peaceful towns. The screenshots showcase both the detailed in-game exploration and some stunning anime visual scenes. The brief story outline tells of a prince whose kingdom is attacked during his wedding, setting him on a quest following his father's dying wish to find allies and power in a dungeon. It looks like a promising, visually rich RPG adventure. This page features 2 upcoming Mega CD titles. First, A Rank Thunder, an adventure game with a tokusatsu hero theme. It uses a unique lip system to reflect character emotions in conversations, similar to Magical Girl's Silky Lip. The opening theme is notably sung by Shinji Kidomari, known for his work on Kamen Rider themes. Screenshots show character interactions using this system, a standard movement scene, and a detailed, imposing monster design, highlighting the game's focus on graphic detail. The content suggests a strong emphasis on its hero show inspiration. Below that is Afterburner 2i, a shooting game that faced a release delay but is now progressing well towards completion. While some aspects like balance and enemy placement are still being adjusted, it is reported to be quite playable. The music is noted as having a different feel compared to previous shooting games, aiming for a new vibe. Screenshots display the title logo, various in-game perspectives including cockpit view, overhead views with missile targeting, and a plane on a runway, indicating changes from the arcade version such as graphics on the ground and different modes of play. The next page features the upcoming Mega CD title, Yumi Mix. Described not just as an adventure game, but as an interactive comic, this title aims to fully utilize the Mega CD's capabilities as a multimedia platform. The preview on this page is presented as a Mega CD press theater, recreating a scene from the game's opening in a comic panel format to give readers a feel for the gameplay. The scene follows the protagonist, 15-year-old Yumi Yoshi, as she wakes up, depicting her groggy state and interaction with her mother. The core mechanic is shown through select panels, placed within the sequence of comic panels. These allow the player to make choices, such as whether to sleep more or attempt to wake up, with each choice directing the player to a different panel number, simulating the game's branching narrative flow. The game itself is noted to feature full animation and voice acting for all dialogue. Scheduled for a late November release at 7,800 yen, the game's completion gauge is currently at 80%. This page continues the Mega CD press theater preview of the upcoming Mega CD title, Yumi Mix. It further illustrates the game's interactive comic format, picking up where the previous page left off with protagonist Yumi Yoshi's morning routine. The panels depict Yumimi waking up and interacting with her parents. Crucially, the Select feature is shown again, presenting the player with choices that branch the narrative. For example, you can choose to introduce yourself or not, leading to different panel sequences. Later choices involve deciding whether to eat breakfast. The page also provides a character profile for Yumimi, detailing her age, blood type, school club activities, academic strengths and weaknesses, and even physical measurements. This gives players insight into the protagonist they will be controlling. Different paths triggered by choices show variations in her morning, such as taking a shower. The comic panels effectively demonstrate how the game uses branching paths to create a unique narrative experience driven by player decisions. Yumi's interactive comic continues, offering a choice: eat or skip breakfast. Eating leads to a late start, a frantic dash to school, and fear of lateness. Skipping breakfast offers a slightly earlier departure, but still leaves Yumimi anxious about being late. Both paths converge at school, culminating in a cliffhanger as a mysterious figure appears before her, possibly a rumored ghost. The Mega CD press section previews upcoming titles.
Record of Lodos War development has begun with a kickoff meeting discussing concept, battles, and visuals. Cyborg 009 is an action game with acceleration and partner support. Shield Waves Poppenland is a platformer with character customization. Schwarzschild, a strategy RPG, is highlighted for its story, characters, and voice acting, leveraging the CD format.
This page of Beep Game Gear gives us a special report on the upcoming Game Gear version of the Mega Drive classic, Streets of Rage. Releasing on November 27, 1992, Sega is bringing the beloved beat-em-up to the portable system, and the big news is the inclusion of two-player simultaneous play via link cable. The preview highlights that the Game Gear port is remarkably faithful to the original Mega Drive game. While they only saw the first two stages during the interview, the map layouts are confirmed to be identical. Graphics and character animations, including special moves like Axel Stone's backdrop, are also faithfully recreated. However, there are some necessary adjustments for the portable hardware. Most notably, the playable character roster is reduced from 3 in the original to just 2. Axel Stone and Blaze Fielding. Skate Hunter unfortunately doesn't make the cut. On the audio side, the legendary Yuzo Koshiro returns to handle the music, ensuring the signature house sound of Streets of Rage is present, although the sound source differs from the Mega Drive. With a reported completion level of 90%, this Game Gear port of Streets of Rage looks set to deliver a solid portable experience, especially with that rare for the time two-player mode. This page features reviews for 2 Sega Game Gear titles, and a preview for an upcoming Mega Drive game. First is a review for the Game Gear game, known internationally as Castlevania: The Adventure. Described as essentially the Game Gear version of Castlevania, the reviewer notes its atmospheric graphics and hidden items reminiscent of the series. It's considered somewhat difficult and challenging for those not skilled in action games, also noting the in-game messages are in English. While praising the high-quality graphics, the reviewer felt the gameplay was only okay. Next is the Game Gear port of Batman Returns. The review highlights the game's success in capturing the dark atmosphere of the movie. Gameplay features a variety of wire actions, although visibility can be challenging. The action is compared to the Famicom Batman game. Players navigate 5 stages across Gotham City, battling foes including Joker, Catwoman, and Penguin. The wire system is noted as a useful tool for traversal. The overall reception is positive. Finally, a small preview announces the upcoming release of Chuck Rock for the Mega Drive. Genesis. This side-scrolling action game stars a primitive protagonist who uses unique attacks, like a belly thrust against enemies. This page highlights upcoming new software releases. With a focus on Sega's handheld, the Game Gear featured are previews of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and GG Shinobi 2. 2 highly anticipated sequels for the Game Gear lineup, suggesting great things are on the horizon. The page then delves into 2 specific Game Gear titles. First up is Kunachan's Game Heaven Part 2, the sequel to a previous collection of simple, fun minigames. This installment also contains 4 distinct minigames, including what appears to be a racing game, bowling, and a jigsaw puzzle, all presented in a light-hearted style. It's described as the definitive variety game collection. Next, the classic puzzle strategy game Lemmings gets the spotlight for its Game Gear port. Known for guiding adorable, helpless creatures through hazardous environments, the reviewer notes this version is a seemingly perfect port of the original PC hit, bringing its unique group management puzzle gameplay to the handheld. The little lemmings themselves even get a speech bubble lamenting their tendency to die despite their bravery. Finally, a regular reader mail column titled G.G Hotline is included, serving as a communication hub for Game Gear enthusiasts. It discusses upcoming changes to the column format and shares the interesting finding from a reader survey that a significant percentage of BeepMD readers also own a Game Gear. This page presents the Difficult Games International Rescue Mission, a column dedicated to assisting players who have hit frustrating roadblocks in various games. This particular installment, Rescue 005, focuses on overcoming obstacles in Phantasy Star Adventure, Spider-Man, and Magical Girl Silky Lip. In Phantasy Star Adventure, a player is stuck after reaching the Barren Research Institute. The solution involves navigating to a ventilation shaft and dropping the id card through a hole to reach the captured protagonist, allowing the story to advance. The column also addresses the Sega Genesis version of Spider-Man, where a player is having trouble locating a time bomb following the tough Kingpin battle. The rescue details that the bomb is found in the area after defeating the boss and requires defusing it by entering keys corresponding to the color of indicator lamps. A crucial tip is to wait for the intense flashing after each correct key entry to subside before proceeding. The difficulty of the Kingpin fight itself, which requires defensive tactics and jump kicks, is also highlighted. Lastly, the PC Engine game Magical Girl's Silky Lip is featured, specifically a point in Chapter 4 where a player struggles to trigger a character's swimsuit change using a locker. The correct method is revealed. The player must stand at the locker and immediately use the look command with the C button, rather than waiting for the "This is mine" message to appear. This page continues the Difficult Games International Rescue Mission column, providing vital tips for players stuck in various Sega Mega Drive games. Assistance is offered for Rent a Hero, covering common queries, the cassette tape puzzle which requires multiple listens for hints, finding the secret research lab by speaking to a chef, and the quest involving a cat that swallowed Doraemon. For Shining in the Darkness, players receive guidance on locating powerful items such as the light's shield and the light's sword, with coordinates provided for the sword's location within the Shinsu dungeon, noting the need for the Pearl of Truth. Directions are also given for finding the character Ita and accessing the Shinsu area itself. Lastly, strategies are detailed for defeating challenging boss opponents like Kaido and Ukyo Katayama in the fighting game Shura no Mon, emphasizing defensive maneuvers and timing attacks against their special moves. A screenshot from Shura no Mon shows a fighting scene. This page is Beep MegaDrive's Urawaza League, Volume 31, focusing on game tips and tricks, including hidden stages. It kicks off by mentioning the ongoing search for secrets in Dyna Brothers. For Thunderstorm FX, several command sequences are detailed. Entering specific button combinations at the title screen menu unlocks stage select and forced clears, invincibility, an easy option in config mode, and a debug mode that lets you view game assets like explosion patterns. Screenshots illustrate the debug menu addition and gameplay with invincibility active. In Dyna Brothers, a trick reveals a hidden surfing team. By moving the map to an area devoid of characters and using the Flood Disaster command, the Pichan surfing team appears after the water recedes. Screenshots show the map setup and the quirky surfing characters. Detonator Organ holds a secret graphic. Early in the game, players can visit a specific character's room instead of the standard path. Using the Look command repeatedly adds a mirror option, which, when examined, reveals a slightly risque image, though the magazine humorously states they can't show the full detail. Screenshots show the in-game menu options and a censored view of the graphic. Finally, a section on hidden stages provides passwords, BNGO, and Twin. Entering these unlocks a secret stage, likely for Dyna Brothers, described as having a slot machine-like interface and enemies that mimic the player's moves, making it surprisingly easy. Screenshots depict the password entry grid and the strategic gameplay screen. This page continues Beep MegaDrive's Urawaza League, highlighting more game secrets submitted by readers. For Splatterhouse Part 2, a stage select is available by entering a specific button sequence from the title screen. Lightning Force. Quest for the Darkstar players can acquire weapons anytime during gameplay by pausing and inputting a complex button combination, granting all weapons or the powerful claw. In Ayrton Senna's Super Monaco GP2 on the Game Gear, inputting either Senna or Champion as a password in World Championship mode will take you directly to the ending. Lastly, a quirky trick in Shining Force involves the character Yogurt appearing to do some strange digging work if you revisit a particular spot in Rudo Village after a key event. The page also details the prizes awarded to contributors for their successful Urawaza submissions. This page is the 9th installment in the History of TV Games series, focusing on Sega's 1979 arcade hit Head On, which was considered a significant release following the Space Invaders craze. Head On is described as a pioneering dote-eating maze game, where players navigate a field, collecting dots while avoiding enemy vehicles. Although not the absolute first of its kind, its polish and popularity cemented it as the originator of the genre in the arcade scene. The article discusses the game's influence, leading to several derivative titles from various manufacturers. It also highlights the sequel, Head On 2, which enhanced the gameplay by allowing up to 4 players and introducing more challenging enemy AI with strategic movement options, including U-turn lanes that allow players to get behind enemies. The screenshots illustrate the simple yet effective maze design and the core gameplay loop. The piece explores Head-On's legacy as a key title in the evolution of arcade games beyond static shooting. This page continues the look at early arcade games from 1979, focusing on Sega's Car Hunt. Presented as a more strategic version of their hit Head-On, the article describes Car Hunt as featuring enhanced gameplay over its predecessors, Head-On and Head-On 2, allowing players to move backward and navigate more complex, visually varied courses, with graphical elements like trees and overpasses. Screenshots show different maze layouts, highlighting the diverse environments mentioned, a departure from the simpler designs of the earlier games. The piece also touches upon other contemporary titles in the maze genre, including Nichibutsu's Rolling Crash, which uses an interesting figure-8 course, and World Vending's Head-On game, noted as a conversion of their World Invader. An interesting point discussed is the industry's reaction to dote-eating games. Despite the success of the original Head-On, sequels didn't perform as well. The article relates this to the skepticism surrounding Namco's Pac-Man before its massive success, noting that some industry figures initially believed dote-eating games wouldn't be popular based on their experience with the later Head-On titles. It highlights Pac-Man's impact and its innovative power pellet mechanic as changing this perception. The page features screenshots of several maze games, illustrating the different visual styles and course designs of these early titles. This page dives into early arcade hits, starting with Taito's 1979 release, Space Chaser. Presented as a more dynamic evolution of the Head-On concept, it features a striking blue maze with pulsating enemies and dots to collect. Unlike the rigid forward movement of its predecessors, Space Chaser allows for backward movement, adding a layer of tactical depth. The game is noted for its frantic enemy acceleration, as dots decrease, and a unique, incessant chocopo sound effect that contributes to the urgent atmosphere. Success hinges on recognizing and exploiting enemy patterns, leading to a satisfying mastery.
Below it, the page features Spenk's 1980 title, Safari Rally. This is a vertical scrolling dote-eating game where players control a car navigating a path filled with obstacles like rocks and oncoming traffic. The controls are simple, involving left/right movement and acceleration, making it relatively accessible among its genre contemporaries. Players collect dots while avoiding hazards, but interestingly, scoring involves running over animals that appear, despite the risk of crashing. The game also includes a charming, nice play message displayed after clearing a stage, encouraging the player to continue. This page starts by showcasing the 1979 arcade game, Kaite Takara Sagashi, Underwater Treasure Hunt, developed by Nagano Game and sold by Namco. The screenshots illustrate the gameplay, where players control a ship dropping a line to the seabed to retrieve treasures. The game features block-like obstacles and aquatic life. It's described as being based on Namco's Gibi, modified from its block-breaking genre roots. The screenshots show descending to collect treasure and the eventual game over screen. The lower section features a status report on the Asakusa Game Museum, highlighting a current Namco month event. The museum has gathered a large collection of Namco's classic arcade boards, including titles from the Gibi series up to System 86 games like Wonder Momo. The report notes the effort put into getting these boards working, with many available for play. Other Namco classics such as Galaxian, Rally X, Bosconian, Dig Dug, Libble Rabble, The Tower of Druaga, and Pac-Man are also mentioned as part of the collection. Photos show some of the arcade cabinets, including a vector monitor game like Starhawk, giving a glimpse into the museum's atmosphere. The event aims to let visitors enjoy these nostalgic titles. This article explores the Neo Geo's legacy, particularly its influence on fighting games. It focuses on Spenk's art of fighting, highlighting its impressive size for its times. The game features a straightforward combat system with punch-and-kick attacks, playable in story or versus modes. Initially, players control Ryo and Robert, but the article hints at unlocking hidden characters and mastering special moves, even referencing SNK certificates for completion. Key mechanics include screen zooming, combo usage, feints, and spirit gauge management. The game's 4-button control scheme is also described. The article showcases signature moves like Ryo's and Robert's Dragon Punch,
drawing parallels between the characters and the game's title. Furthermore, the piece details bonus stages in story mode that enhance stats and unlock special moves, exemplified by stages involving ice pillars and bottles. Finally, it briefly recommends King of the Monsters as a must-play Neo Geo title, praising its monster fighting action and the destruction of city stages. This page is the Reader Present giveaway section for the November 1992 issue. It details how to enter the contest via postcard by the November 8th deadline. The prizes are exciting. You could win your choice of any Mega Drive or Game Gear game released up to the end of October 1992, including titles like Landstalker shown in a screenshot. Other cool prizes include a Sonic Barcelona Olympics badge, a bag of Sega plushies featuring characters like Sonic, Tails, and characters from Puyo Puyo, a Jeff United t-shirt, or some original Sonic stickers. The information section highlights that games like Landstalker and Puyo Puyo are boosting the Mega Drive scene. But there's some concern about the lack of major releases coming up, though the upcoming 32-bit era is seen as promising. There's also a phone number for magazine-related questions and a list of staff contributors, including thanks to international publications like Megaplay and Sega Force. The next issue is set to release on November 7th. This page showcases Yumimi Mix, an interactive comic adventure game developed by Game Arts exclusively for the Mega CD. The prominent artwork features three main characters in an anime style, set against a vibrant blue background and the game's distinctive bubbly title logo, which includes a small rabbit character. The game is highlighted for its extensive animation, boasting approximately 7,000 total frames and 800 full-screen animated sequences, with layouts by Izumi Takemoto, the original artist. As an adventure title, the story features branching paths and multiple endings determined by player choices. Adding to the experience is a theme song by Yumi Takahashi and a stellar voice cast featuring actors such as Toshihiko Seki and Emi Shinohara. Screenshots depict various scenes from the game, including a classroom, an interior location with several characters, and a beach setting, giving a glimpse into the game's diverse environments. This page introduces the Sega Mega CD title, Jiko Chushinya 2, Gekito Tokyo Mahjong Land Hen, a mahjong game developed by Game Arts, the same company behind Yumi Mix, which was just featured. The primary visual is a vibrant, detailed map of Tokyo Mahjong Land, an amusement park setting where the game takes place, along with an illustration of a protagonist character in the bottom left. The game is set in this unique mahjong-themed park, featuring 16 attractions and 3 restaurants. The page highlights 2 main gameplay modes. The first is Story Mahjong, where you, along with the character Toyotomi-kun, must battle tough opponents in mahjong matches throughout the park's attractions to uncover an evil conspiracy. Matches can be singles or tag team, with specific win conditions for each. The second mode is Date Mahjong, where the goal is to use your mahjong skills to win the heart of a girl on a date at the park. Failing the date results in a game over. It's a fascinating blend of mahjong gameplay with adventure and dating simulation elements, set against a charming park backdrop. This page is advertising a special event called Yusei Sega World, Planet Sega World, celebrating Sega's high-tech entertainment. The main visual features Sonic the Hedgehog surfing on a large disc over a vibrant, futuristic landscape, with waterfalls, floating islands, impressive buildings, and racing cars. The event is scheduled for December 6, 1992, at Ryogoku Kokugikan in Tokyo. It's promoted as a free experience, offering a collection of Sega's latest high-tech entertainment, including popular games and unreleased titles. Highlights include the revolutionary racing game, Virtua Racing, powered-up next entries in series like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and 3x3 Eyes, racing battles, a UFO catcher championship tournament, and grand raffles with luxurious prizes. It's described as an opportunity to witness the full potential of Sega. The page also notes that celebrity Yumiko Takahashi will be making an appearance. There was a giveaway offering tickets to 10,000 people who applied by postcard. Inquiries could be made via telephone.